Childbearing, breastfeeding, weight gain, weight loss, or normal aging can cause a level of concern about our appearance. Oh, I know, and unfortunately, dieting, exercise, and healthy lifestyles aren't always enough. Dr. Burt offers the Mommy Makeover, including a tummy tuck and breast augmentation with the new memory-shaped implants. Dr. Will specializes in Botox, neck lifts, and many other procedures to uncover the beauty within. And now men and women can benefit from the great new NeoGraft hair transplant treatment that requires minimal downtime and no scarring. Doctors Burt and Will are female board-certified plastic surgeons. I've met them. I love them. I recommend you meet them too. You can receive a complimentary consultation at any of their Chicagoland offices or just register for a seminar. Call 630-930-3555 or visit UncoverMyBeauty.com. That's 630-930-3555 or UncoverMyBeauty.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues right now. And make sure to join me, Sean Hannity, this afternoon starting at 2, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Speaking of the Super Bowl, Rex Tillerson, Rexon, he mentioned the New England Patriots in his address to the State Department yesterday, which we'll get to. But first, we've got the National Prayer Breakfast, the reality TV version. Donald Trump offered prayers, thoughts and prayers, that you do at a National Prayer Breakfast for reality TV show hosts.
Had tremendous success on The Apprentice. And when I ran for president, I had to leave the show. That's when I knew for sure I was doing it. And they hired a big, big movie star, Arnold Schwarzenegger, to take my place. And we know how that turned out. The ratings went right down the tubes. It's been a total disaster. And Mark will never, ever bet against Trump again. And I want to just pray for Arnold, if we can, for those ratings, okay?
What's the best part? There's 3 things I liked about that comment. What was the best part for you?
Well, I mean, he did veer off script. That was not what you normally do at a National Prayer Breakfast, especially your first one. Well, to me,
that was an ecumenical statement.
Well, to me, it seemed as if he was. It wasn't. He didn't take it seriously. This is not a roast for God. This is a serious prayer breakfast, and he took it a little too far.
No, I don't think so. I mean, that's obviously was flip. But if you go and listen to what else he had to say, he spent some time talking about religious freedom.
Thoughtful.
And so it's an offhanded joke that he has to make for self-aggrandizing purposes, that's just part of who Trump is.
You have to show a little humility and be humble in front of God when you're at a prayer breakfast.
Well,
just my what I would do, how I would handle it.
Well, I mean, again, for the majority of his remarks, he was. But there's 3 things I liked about that.
Okay, what?
One, referring to Mark, being Mark Burnett, the show creator for The Apprentice, like everybody knows who Mark is.
Mark.
It's just Mark. 2, which I always enjoy, is the referring to yourself in the third person. Mm-hmm. And 3 is taking a shot at liberal catastrophe, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
But within minutes, he shot back, and I love this. He put this out on his Twitter. Here is former governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Hey, Donald, I have a great idea. Why don't we switch jobs? You take over TV because you're such an expert in ratings, and I take over your job. And then people can finally sleep comfortably again.
Switch jobs?
Yeah. I remember when Arnold Schwarzenegger wanted to have the Constitution amended so that he could run for president because he did such a bang-up job as governor of California.
He banged something up when he was governor of California.
Zing, halo, Y-O-G. Yeah. The dude was working at his maid. Wow.
Can I tell you, I know somebody who actually thought she was good looking. And he sat exactly where you're sitting right now.
Was he also an Austrian bodybuilder? Was he jacked up on steroids?
No, but he thought she was good looking. And I thought, is that a radio bit? Are you kidding around? And he said, no, she's good looking. And I said, where? Show me where that is good looking.
No,
kids are happy.
That wasn't the only kind of unique moment at or coming out of a prayer breakfast. Nancy Pelosi also had some choice words at a press briefing immediately following the prayer breakfast.
Uh-oh.
She was late to this briefing because the prayer breakfast ran long, as she said in the announcement. But she was still very much in the spirit of brotherhood. love and respect for one's fellow man, the Christian ethic. Nancy Pelosi and Steve Bannon.
What's making America less safe is to have a white supremacist named to the National Security Council as a permanent member, while the chairman of the Joint Chiefs and the director of national intelligence are told, don't call us, we'll call you.
White supremacist
Whoa.
Steve Bannon. He's a white supremacist. You know, there was a day when you would have to back up a claim like that. He's a white supremacist?
Were any reporters in there saying, well, what do you mean and what proof do you have?
Yeah, I don't.
And this is coming off of the prayer breakfast?
Yeah, she went
Oh,
right
this
from
is-
the prayer breakfast to calling Steve Bannon a white supremacist,
Oh.
and I just don't. I don't think there's enough evidence to make that claim. That's your House Minority Leader, and so for all of the outrageous things that Trump says from time to time, or the kind of off-key notes he strikes, in some people's opinions. And because you say something at room temperature, this is something that our Senator Dick Durbin has mastered, saying completely unreasonable, indefensible things. But if you say them in a conversational tone of voice, well, then it's just fine. If you just say it matter-of-factly that Steve Bannon is a white supremacist, everybody just moves on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all right.
okay, I got it. Sure. Yeah, okay, if you say so. And that's what Nancy Pelosi did. That deserves to be challenged and ridiculed. Nancy Pelosi is not a serious person. She's not a smart person. We know all these things.
And I finally watched that video yesterday when they had that rally on the Supreme Court steps at night, 2 nights ago, and she told the guy who was speaking, tell him you're Muslim.
That was Andre Carson, a congressman
Yeah.
from Indiana.
Yeah,
right?
who's a Muslim and former police officer, and she was egging him on like, tell him already. Will
Yeah.
you say the M word?
Yeah, that's why when you come out of a prayer breakfast or you even listen to the politicians in these contexts about thoughts and prayers for this and thoughts and prayers for that. I'm often Anthony Jeselnik, the comedian.
Yeah.
He does a lot of the Comedy Central roasts and stuff, and he's very dark, right? It's all very kind of cynical
Sinister,
humor
too.
Um,
Yeah.
And he's gotten in a lot of trouble. Actually, he got his Comedy Central show canceled because of some of his, what you would say, tweets that were in poor taste. For example,
Which
the
one?
day of the Boston Marathon bombing.
Oh, no.
This will give you a sense of Anthony Jeselnik's brand of humor,
Okay.
which I generally enjoy. I've got to say, the day of the Boston Marathon bombing, he tweeted, "Some lines are not meant to be crossed."
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I see why they pulled the plug
Yeah,
on that show.
Right. But one point he makes in his stand-up sets, which I really enjoy, is the whole thoughts and prayers. And that's the point he was making about the Boston Marathon. It's not that he was trying to be insensitive to victims of the Boston Marathon bombing. What he was really doing is lampooning all the people who post on Facebook and who immediately knee-jerk respond to a tragedy or do the pro forma thing at a prayer breakfast. They're not serious about faith, and they're not even serious about who they say they're extending thoughts and prayers to, right? It's thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers. It's like a rote response, and it's virtue signaling. It's about them, right? It's, look, I care too. Look at me, rather than expressing any serious thought about and true solidarity.
Or when
Concern.
they changed their Facebook photo to show, remember the France attacks? And
Yeah.
Everybody changed put the French flag in front of their face.
Right,
The
and
silhouette.
yeah.
Which was nice, but it was a little.
It's
But that's just not me. I'm not that person. I pray in my own way and offer condolences at church or at home, but I don't go on Facebook and let people know I'm praying for them.
And I think he's got a point with the whole. I'm making this public statement because I want you to look at me. I'm here too. I matter too, rather than something that is a little bit deeper and serious. And deeper and serious, of course, are not two adjectives you would use to describe Nancy Pelosi.
No, but Donald Trump, can we the one poignant moment from the prayer breakfast once he got serious and got over his prayers for Arnold Schwarzenegger? He talked about freedom of religion and how it's under attack.
Freedom of religion is a sacred right, but it is also a right under threat all around us. And the world is under serious, serious threat in so many different ways. And I've never seen it so much and so openly as since I took the position of president. The world is in trouble, but we're going to straighten it out, okay? That's what I do.
Okay.
I fix things. We're going to straighten it out.
Yeah,
It's all going to be better.
he's
Whatever,
right.
I mean, it was not,
He's right about religious liberty. It's the reason he enjoyed unprecedented support from evangelicals. And I go back to what Tony Perkins from Family Research Council said about him, even at the nadir of the campaign after the Billy Bush tape came out.
Yeah.
In recommitting his support for Trump, even in that dark time for the campaign and the candidate, it was never about shared values with Trump. I don't think Trump is me, and I don't think that we are coming from the same place, but he's our best chance to preserve something that is existentially important to me, and that's religious freedom in this country. And that's where a lot of people came down. So people talk about the Supreme Court nominee. That's why they voted for Trump, even if they had some personal qualms about him.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, religious liberty, same thing.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Gatto Industrial Platers, Inc. is the specialist in zinc and zinc nickel plating. Gatto is big, they're good, and they're easy to work with. Their high production rack plating line has up to a 15-foot capacity to handle any zinc plating requirement. Gatto's 210,000 square foot facility can process 300 tons per day and offers complete custom packaging with available pickup and delivery in the Chicago metro area by Gatto's own fleet of trucks. All of Gatto's products are inspected and certified to ensure that each customer is receiving the best and most cost-effective plating protection. Gatto is home to King Kong, the largest zinc plating line in North America that can zinc plate parts up to 27 feet long and weighing up to 10,000 pounds. For a quote and fast 24 to 48-hour service, call George Gatto Jr. or George Gatto Sr. at 1-800-290-1223. That's 1-800-290-1223. 1-800-290-1223.
The new Trump administration could cause explosive moves in the financial markets, and savvy market speculators are rethinking their investment strategy. Are you ready to do the same? At Online Trading Academy, we believe that reaching your financial goals has little to do with who runs the White House and everything to do with who runs your house. That's why it's the best time to learn how to capitalize on opportunities in the financial markets by attending a free half-day class. Call 888-984-8723. That's 888-984-TRADE or visit tradingacademy.com to reserve your seat. You'll discover professional-grade strategies that can help you generate income, grow wealth, and ultimately achieve your why, the things you want most in life. When you register, you'll get the Wall Street Insiders Kit. Valuable investing insights, strategies, and videos absolutely free. Seats are limited, so don't delay. Call 888-984-8723. That's 888-984-TRADE to reserve your seat. That's 888-984-8723. 888-984-TRADE or visit tradingacademy.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm telling you right now, it's awesome. I was trying to get my blood pressure regulated, okay? And like after 3 days of taking this thing, my blood pressure went back down to normal. I am ecstatic. I am so happy with this stuff. It is my savior.
This was the first summer that I have not had to have a steroid shot to help me to breathe.
The reason why I'm taking it because I've got Hep C. Once I began taking your stuff, it took a few months, but believe it or not, my liver enzymes are way down and it's normal now. It works.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life, but I should have ordered it like 15 years ago.
AM 560, The Answer.
That's funny. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Rexon's core principles at 5:38.
But first, let's go into the newsroom and say good morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. 13 degrees. One of France's largest tourist attractions evacuated today after a soldier was attacked by someone carrying machetes.
Reports of a shooting and the machete attack came from the famous Louvre Museum in Paris, where Sky News' Mark Stone reports this morning.
It is being described by the French Interior Ministry as a serious security incident. It took place outside the Louvre. A man appears to have approached a soldier outside the museum. He was carrying what the police chief is describing as 2 backpacks and was wielding what's being translated as a machete, certainly some sort of a knife, and he tried to attack the soldier. The soldier responded by opening fire, injuring the man. The soldier has received light injuries to himself, and the man has now been detained.
Mark Stone with Fox's sister network Sky News in Paris this morning. The Senate expected to start voting very early this morning to stop debate on Education Secretary nominee Betsy DeVos. The vote is scheduled for right now, in fact, in the Senate. At this hour, the Senate Republicans say the early vote will give them a head start in running time off a procedural clock. Fighting continues to escalate today in eastern Ukraine. Strong shelling has hit both government and rebel-controlled areas. U.S. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis is in South Korea on his first overseas trip, wasting no time in issuing a warning to North Korea. Officials say 24 Iranian individuals, companies, and possibly government agencies will face U.S. sanctions as early as today, following Tehran's test firing of a ballistic missile. Meantime, Iran has fired back, banning U.S. wrestlers from participating in the Freestyle World Cup competition. Tiger Woods is pulling out of the Omega Dubai Desert Classic. Woods, on a comeback after years of struggling with back problems, has withdrawn from the European Tour tournament after the first round. Again, back problems are the trouble, according to Woods, who shot a 77 with 5 bogeys. 2 are wounded, including 1 critically, following a shooting on Chicago's southwest side this morning. It happened near 63rd and Rockwell. Authorities are searching for a man suspected of trying to lure 2 girls on Chicago's north side. Police say a man pulled up in a van and asked 2 girls, a 7-year-old and 10-year-old, to come over and get candy. The pair turned back and ran home. And investigators this morning are looking for the cause of a deadly fire at a group home for veterans in Danville. Patrick Kane, a goal and an assist, and the Blackhawks win over Arizona. The news service of Staples. Filing your own taxes this year? Staples helps you become accountable with everything you need for tax season. For less, storage boxes, filing supplies, software like QuickBooks and TurboTax. And right now, get up to $15 off when you buy TurboTax. In store only, ends 4/1/17. Make more happen. 5:36, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher tells the left to keep quiet.
We keep hearing about what we are. This is not who we are. This is not who we are. That's become the left's mantra all of a sudden. I love them telling us who we are. You know who we are? We're a country that elected the person you didn't want to win. Who we are is not who you wanted us to be.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
Hiring is the most challenging part of my job.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. One click and my job was posted to 200 plus job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 200 plus job sites. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/start now. That's ZipRecruiter.com/start now.
Check out the Ruger event this weekend at Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. All the latest Ruger firearms will be featured and on sale this Friday through Sunday and only at Point Blank. Point Blank Range and Gun Shop offers a state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, an extensive inventory of firearms and ammo, and a supportive, knowledgeable team. The Ruger event is this weekend at Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. Check out shootpointblank.com for all the Ruger event info. Some restrictions may apply.
5:38, a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. In Park Ridge, westbound Higgins is blocked between Cumberland and East River Road for police activity. The Edens and the Kennedy are fine right now. The Eisenhower getting a little congested in the hillside area. Inbound Stevenson Slope, Pulaski to Kedzie, and State to Lakeshore Drive. 37 minutes, 3:55 to the drop. Half on 5 to 34. Ryan, inbound delay starts Cermak, 19 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, got a 2-minute delay, Cottage Grove to the Ryan. Tollways are good. Traffic is a service of LifeLock. Grabbing coffee or breakfast, if you swipe your card, you leave a trail of digital information thieves can use to steal your identity. Ever hear of LifeLock? Their U.S.-based team of specialists help resolve identity theft problems. Go to LifeLock.com now. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast comes from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Cold today. We'll have some clouds and then some sunshine, high 25. Clear and cold, 14 overnight. Currently, 13. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Amy, this came to my attention. I wanted to share it with you because you are the mother of 2 young men named Peyton and Eli.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. And apparently, in terms of the extinction of men that's going on. Right. The end of masculinity. There are people that are afraid of having a son.
Really?
Andrew Reiner had a piece in the New York Times. When my son Makala was born 5 years ago, my college students asked how it felt to be a new father. Of course, he's an academic. Terrifying, I blurted. All I can think about is bullying.
Does he know girls bully worse than boys? But okay, go on.
A female student in his class, the Professor Reiner's class, your child was just born. He responded, I know, but this boy is going to be raised to feel and express his vulnerability. That's a curse in this culture. Yeah. All of the dread and loathing I always felt about the limiting script of traditional masculine norms came flooding back when he found out he was when his child was born, boy. I was faced with one of my biggest fears about parenthood, having a son. The common wisdom is that most men want sons. That's shifting, is it? Some men, like me, fear becoming fathers to sons.
Oh, my God.
Are you
seriously?
If you're a parent, did you have any fear of having a son? And did that fear come to pass in the way that Professor Reiner describes it? Or if you're not a parent yet, but you're planning on starting a family soon, do you fear having a son? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 646-3638, turnkey.pro text line. And is that fear not based on, being a victim of bullying, but because of traditional masculine norms, Amy? What about you with your boys? Is there fear that cripples the household?
Yeah, that they're too terrifyingly masculine? Yeah, no, I embrace that. And I try to tell them to accept that, which I do. And I mean, nobody knows what to do when they're a parent. Really, we don't have parenting classes when, you can take them later on, but to teach you what to do and how to act. But that professor needs to suck it up. I mean, he's been blessed with a baby boy. And doesn't he want to carry on the family name? Doesn't that mean anything to him? But he's too scared because he might be more masculine than maybe, say, him. Is he projecting, possibly?
There's terrifyingly masculine is the fear that he's an English professor, Andrew Reiner, has. By the way, he's writing a book about masculinity. Oh, boy, that should be something. Feminizing masculinity, I suppose, is what the overriding thesis of that will be. Matt Labash in Weekly Standard writes about this. Remember when Grandpa used to dispense wise cliches like Grin and Bear It?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Gramps, we don't do that anymore. We've traded out for Grimace and Express It. The traditional hallmarks of manliness, bravery, stoicism, physical courage, have been discounted for some time now and are damn near being criminalized by the likes of Reiner and the emasculators. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, isn't that what we see with respect? I mean, and this is a small slice of the population, even this generation, so I don't want to, unfairly cast all millennials as those that you see at UC Berkeley, burning stuff and breaking windows, or even middle-aged professors that you see screeching at these, whether it's a Black Lives Matter event, University of Missouri, or this NYU professor that was berating, and we'll have the audio later, the berating New York City police the other day, or just what you've seen kind of in general on college campuses in these protests. I don't want to cast too wide a net with that, but isn't that what you're saying? And then I go back to the discussion we had earlier in the week, governing by tenderness. Everything is tenderness, and sentimentality leads to the gas chamber.
And he even said, I wanted a girl mainly because I felt it was harder to be a boy in today's society. No, it's people like the professor that are making it hard.
I was going to say,
for boys to turn into men.
Yeah.
But that's why, the parents have most of the control, except for the time when they're at school. But we have most of the control here. Yeah. And you should not fear away from terrifyingly masculine behavior. It's okay.
Yeah, the boys will be boys behavior is out. And Professor Reiner makes that point in no uncertain terms. Labash's piece in response to this piece by Professor Reiner is, boys will be boys and eventually should be men. And it seems like that's the second half of what Labash is talking about is the problem, because you have parents like Reiner. Not only are they terrifyingly afraid of masculinity, they find it terrifying, but so they want to emasculate men. They don't tolerate the boys will be boys attitude, but they're really it's emasculating and infantilizing. It's kind of a combination of the two, I guess is my point. Don in Itasca, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy.
Hello.
Hi.
Dan, you'll be there one day, but Amy, I got a son that I've been raising since he was 6 years old, and single still, but I raised him basically never pick a fight, but always don't be afraid to finish or stand up against one. And ever since he was young, but I also taught him to be charitable and compassionate for others, and just open your mind first before your mouth. Anyway, I remember one time when we went to a truck and tractor pull out here in Allstate,
mm-hmm.
and they were doing the T-shirt launch and stuff like that. So on the way out, one of the kids was that was a lot younger than him. As we were leaving, we weren't with that group. He just happened to spot one out, and he said, "Hold on, Dad," and he went over and walked over to the kid, and he handed him the shirt that he caught that they were launching out into the crowd. And the kid was probably maybe 4 or 5 years old, and to me, it almost made me cry inside, just because you figure all that work that you're doing, and then you see that little payoff right there once in a while.
Yeah, that's nice, Don. Raising a sheepdog, yeah.
Nothing has changed. I even taught him to walk the lady to the car and open the door and all that kind of stuff. So
sexist.
It makes me laugh listening to other people sit there being afraid.
Afraid.
Thanks for the call, Don. And
you got to suck it up, man up.
Nice job with your son. That's excellent.
Yes, Don, that's great. And I, too, teach the boys courtesy. Open the door. If you see a woman coming, stop what you're doing and open the door for her.
Do they say, but Mom, we don't see gender? No. We live in a post-gender society.
I don't let them say that.
Well,
chivalry is not dead, okay? That's
not with Peyton and Eli around.
Phrase
it's not.
for Grandpa.
And Don and Itasca's son. Andrew Reiner, though, has some parenting tips for you, too.
Yes.
and your antiquated notions of raising boys.
Okay.
He recounts a time when his son, now 5, McCullough.
Be a daunting task.
Young McCullough, who I feel terribly for, was throwing a bit of a tantrum. He didn't just allow that to be dismissed as boy energy. I had a deep conversation with him. Went to McCullough and he said, "Were you upset because I wasn't paying attention to you?" And then McCullough nodded. So he bent down, he hugged him, he looked at him and said, "It's important that you learn to tell Mama and me what you need. Sometimes that means telling us what you're feeling inside. Understand?" He nodded. "You do it," I said. "Tell me what you really wanted." He shrugged, still looking down. "You to pay attention to me," he said. And then he said, "Dad, Dad, want to have a catch?" No. And then McCullough went on to say, "You to pay attention to me and for me to have a man for a father."
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. On AM 560, The Answer.
That guy needs to get a pea hat. Too soon? Yeah, he needs one of those.
Really nice. He was you can be sure he was at the P March, weekend before last.
Weather today, it's going to be cold with some clouds. A high of 25. But your weekend, things are going to be warming up. Saturday, some sunshine and some clouds. Breezy in the afternoon, a high of 32. And on Super Bowl Sunday, clouds in the morning, then sun and clouds in the afternoon, and much warmer, a high of 40 degrees. Let's get those travel times and jump into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte, a real man.
Oh, thank you, Amy. Good morning. Yeah, no pea hats here. And certainly not my two boys either. Park Ridge got a closure of westbound Higgins from Cumberland to D Road. It's been shut down for a while. There's some police activity in that area. It's open eastbound. This is just north of the Kennedy. You can take Devon or Bryn Mawr to get around that. The Edens is fine. The Kennedy as well. Reversibles are open inbound now. The Eisenhower has mild delays around 1st Avenue. 31 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound fine at 29. Stevenson looking at 39 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. Inbound I-57 at Halstead. The crash just reported. Prepare to slow down there. Bishop Ford, about a 4-minute delay from the Stony Island feeder to the Verge. Tollways are good. No delays to report in Northwest Indiana. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Text about that we were talking about. Thought that kid was going to ask for a Barbie when his dad asked him what he really wanted. I was thinking he was going to ask him for a sex change. Hi-yo. The website, upstream-ideas.com. Go there today and sign up for premium content that complements and enhances what we do on this show. Long-form interviews in our Against the Current series, this week featuring venerable Chicago journalist Bernie Judge, 60-second commentaries, 2-minute warnings about the worst of the worst in politics, like, say, this week's example, Tiny Dancer. Podcast of our Illinois Rising program that focuses on state policy and politics. Follow the Logic segments, Man on the Street segments, this week featuring Northwestern students talking about immigration. Oh, that should be Logic. That's fun to try and follow. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
Guys, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. Luckily, Pro Flowers is offering an unbelievable deal. 1 dozen assorted roses plus a free glass vase for $19.99 plus shipping and handling. And this week only will also include free chocolates. Go to proflowers.com, click on the microphone in the right corner and enter code 7575. But hurry, this deal expires this Friday. Order now from Pro Flowers. You pick the delivery date and it's guaranteed. Think about it. She gets a beautiful bouquet and you get to sit back and look awesome, all for an amazing price. It's a no-brainer. 1 dozen assorted roses and free chocolates, guaranteed to stay fresh for at least 7 days, starting at $19.99, and will include a vase for free. Fresh flowers, guaranteed delivery, and add-ons to complete your gift. Pro Flowers makes Valentine's Day easy. But hurry, this incredible deal expires this Friday. The only way to get this amazing deal is to visit proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 7575. That's proflowers.com. Secret code 7575.
Online marketplace where you make cash offers for products or professional services you would like to buy or use. Do you need extra cash or have items or professional services you'd like to sell online, or would you like to post an online cash offer for products or professional services? Then sign up today at cashcasters.com. It's easy. People offer their products or professional services to you based on your cash offer. Simply post any item you'd like for free, along with a minimum price you are willing to accept. Every time you post, Cashcasters automatically sends your offer to all matching cash offers. It's always free to post products, so post as many as you would like, or make a cash offer on any product or professional service you desire. Be one of the first 200 people to either make a cash offer or post a product, and you will automatically be registered to win a 10-inch Samsung Galaxy tablet. Full details at cashcasters.com. Sign up now to catch a deal today. Visit cashcasters.com. That's cashcasters.com.
Hi, I'm Mary Beth. I had a failed root canal and it was causing me pain. Dr. Neruzzi took care of my tooth and I got my implant, and then I had another after that fail, and he did that one as well. And the experience was, they were amazing. It was not painful at all like I thought it was going to be, and I was very, very, very nervous about the whole thing. Nobody enjoys getting, implants or dental work, and I procrastinated, but I had to have it done. And he took me in immediately and took care of it. And he made it really affordable. They're very accommodating to people that cannot afford to have it done. I would recommend Dr. Neruzzi to anybody, and I have given him referrals. My own sister had hers done by him.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
For missing teeth, dental implants are wonderful. The advantages are fantastic. Just remember, implantsforme.com. Implantsforme.com.
Hi, I'm Todd Pals, owner of Homewood Bat Company, a top quality baseball bat made right here in the Chicagoland area. Homewood Bat Company is all about using the best in materials and craftsmanship to create a truly remarkable baseball bat. I've been a client of Precision Payroll for a number of years, and when I started the Homewood Bat Company, I wanted them on my team. From working with me when I had 1,200 employees at another company, and now with less than 50, their service has been exceptional and their value is unrivaled. You want more runs in the game? Give Homewood Bat Company a look. You need a home run for your business? Precision Payroll should be the next call you make.
Thank you, Todd. It is so cool to see you make Americana. Precision Payroll would like to go to bat for you. Call me at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. Or on the web at precisionpayroll.com.
I'm Dan Proft.
And I'm Amy Jacobson.
And we want to say thanks to each and every one of you who helped us to reach our goal of providing food for a year and water for life for 2,000 kids and counting in Haiti and Guatemala.
Your generosity means that these children will have a shot at living a happy and healthy life despite the enormous challenges they face.
And just because the Christmas season is over and we're starting a new year, that doesn't mean the need has gone away. You can still make a difference in the life of a child by making a $50 donation to Food for the Poor. Food for the Poor is one of America's largest and most trusted charities. Since 1982, they've been helping the poorest of the poor by directing resources directly to those in the greatest need.
Just call 855-880-3663. That's 855-880-FOOD, or go to 560theanswer.com, keyword food.
And thanks to the many business benefactors who supported this campaign, when you hear their ads on the radio station this year, we'd ask that you support their businesses as a way of thanking them for their generosity.
My name is David Hochberg, Vice President Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. According to creditcard.com, American consumers are carrying the same level of credit card debt as they did in 2008 before the market collapsed, which is very scary. Credit card holders in Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, and Michigan are carrying over $33,000 worth of debt on their credit cards. This equates to a monthly payment of around $1,320, which is the equivalent to the payment on a $250,000 mortgage. The good news is home values have rebounded, and now is an excellent time to call me at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pay off your credit card debt and lower your monthly payments. It's easy. I've helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License 4358, and MLS 19186.
AM 560, The Answer.
5:57. Let's get an update on the roads this morning. Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center time, Here's Jim Talamonte.
Like the inbound Bishop Ford is jammed 111th to King Drive with a crash in the left lane. 31 minutes, 8094 to the Rhine. Only the usual mild delays elsewhere at this hour. Traffic service of Staples. Filing your own taxes this year, Staples helps you be accountable with everything you need for tax season for less. With storage boxes and filing supplies to software like QuickBooks and TurboTax. Right now, get up to $15 off when you buy TurboTax. In-store only ends 4/1/17. Staples, make more happen. That's traffic. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues after a check of your forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today will be cold with some clouds, then sunshine. High 25. Tonight, clear and cold with a low 14. Sun followed by clouds tomorrow with a breezy afternoon and a few evening flurries. High 33. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
12 degrees at O'Hare at 5:59. Here are the stories we're following on WIND Chicago. 2 are wounded, including 1 critically following a shooting on Chicago's southwest side. 2 students face disorderly conduct charges after a bomb threat forced the evacuation of northwest suburban Wakanda High School. Authorities later, after a hard lockdown, searched that building and determined the threat was not credible. Governor Bruce Rauner warning Illinois may not be able to afford a full Obamacare repeal right now, telling the Daily Herald he's told President Trump's office the state needs something to replace the health care law that's added more than 600,000 people to Illinois Medicaid rolls. Illinois Senate President John Cullerton may be reaching the limit of his endurance over the state budget logjam. Chicago Sun-Times reports Cullerton is telling colleagues he's so frustrated he's considering not running for re-election. Patrick Kane, a goal and an assist in the Blackhawks win over Arizona. The news a service of LifeLock. Ever hear of LifeLock? Their U.S.-based team of specialists help resolve identity theft problems at LifeLock.com. More Dan and Amy next. Now Fox News.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Iran is playing with fire. That's what President Trump has just tweeted the morning after saying this at the National Prayer Breakfast.
The world is in trouble, but we're going to straighten it out, okay?
His tweet a short time ago goes on to say Iran does not appreciate how kind President Obama was to them. Not me. The Trump administration could impose new sanctions on Iran as soon as today over recent ballistic missile tests. Iran has just banned U.S. wrestlers from going there later this month for the Freestyle World Cup. The president also thanked in a tweet Australia's prime minister for telling the truth about their very civil conversation. The president says the fake news media lied about it. Senators have gathered early and are voting. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the Senate is taking a voice vote now on ending debate on Education Secretary nominee Betsy DeVos, setting up a final vote next week. 2 Republicans, Susan Collins of Maine and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, have said they'll vote no, leading to the possibility Vice President Pence would cast a tie-breaking vote. The rare pre-dawn session is the result of fighting over President Trump's cabinet nominees. Democrats have been slow-rolling confirmation votes. The last time the Senate came in this early was back in 2009 on Christmas Eve Day to take a vote on the first version of Obamacare. Dave.
Rachel, there's been yet another attack in Paris, but it was stopped quickly this morning. Fox's Kitty Logan live in our European bureau.
Dave, a man tried to stab 4 soldiers patrolling near the famous Louvre Museum in Paris. French police say the suspect shouted Allahu Akbar and behaved aggressively when he was stopped by the patrol for a bag check. A military spokesman says the soldiers tried to fight him off before opening fire, leaving him seriously wounded. 1 soldier was also slightly injured. Police say the suspect had 2 machetes, but no explosives. Dave?
Kitty, things got ugly last night. At New York University, protesters angry about a conservative speaker on campus the day after a riot at UC Berkeley. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
A new president has taken office, and now he must get to work. What will President Trump accomplish in his first 100 days? What should his priorities be? Join AM 560 for an exciting evening on Wednesday, March 22nd. It's Trump, the first 100 days, featuring Sean Hannity, Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, and Joe Walsh. See them all live at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/Trump. Sponsored in part by Best Dental Group.
Guys, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. Luckily, Pro Flowers is offering an unbelievable deal. 100 blooms of love plus a free glass vase for $19.99 plus shipping and handling. And this week only will also include free chocolates. Order now from Pro Flowers. You pick the delivery date and it's guaranteed. But hurry, this incredible deal expires this Friday. The only way to get this amazing deal is to visit proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 3535. That's proflowers.com. Secret code 3535.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Test drive a Ford Escape and find out. With available EcoBoost power and a host of class-exclusive features designed to make life better. Compare Ford Escape next to a Toyota RAV4 or Honda CR-V and the reasons start to stack up. The 2017 Escape, that's Ford. And that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on 2016 calendar year sales.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Hi, my name's Rex. I'm the new guy. Rex Tillerson, Rexon, as he has been termed by me.
Yeah, trademark Dan Proft.
I think that I can't wait for that to make its rounds among the 75,000 State Department employees.
Oh.
So it kind of like that would be my contribution to the corporate culture of the State Department under Secretary Tillerson, who addressed the State Department yesterday. And interesting, the focus of his remarks in part, like, for example, on safety of officials in the field. See, Benghazi.
When I wake up each morning, the very first thing I ask myself is, are all of our people safe? The safety of every single member of our State Department family, regardless of where he or she is posted, is not just a priority for me. It's a core value.
That's a core value. And then Tillerson went on to explain what the core principles are that he will abide as well as demand from State Department employees during his tenure. It was very much a CEO speech. Lay out first principles, and then you will fill in the blanks once we establish the foundation of first principles. Frankly, it's a lesson in leadership for political types from corporate America. Tillerson, 3 core principles. 1, accountability.
For every individual who works at the State Department, I ask that we adopt a few core principles. First, I believe that any organization runs best when all of its members embrace accountability. From the mailroom to the boardroom, every member of a team has a job to do. I know nobody will always be perfect, and that certainly includes me. But I ask that everyone strive for excellence and assume responsibility for their actions and their decisions.
Accountability, that's 1. Honesty, that's the 2nd core principle.
Secondly, I want us to be honest with one another. We're on the same team. We share the same mission. Honesty will undergird our foreign policy, and we'll start by making it the basis of how we interact with each other.
And 3 out of 3 is respect.
Lastly, we're going to treat each other with respect. No one will tolerate disrespect of anyone. Before we are employees of the State Department, we are human beings first. Let us extend respect to each other, especially when we may disagree.
You know, the interesting thing about laying that out, you can listen to that and say, well, that's pretty simple or even simplistic, accountability, honesty, and respect. Well, if it's not present, or even if it is present, if it's not established as the culture, then it can easily not be present. And so I think Tillerson, I like the idea of laying out first principles. It's something I advise candidates to do all the time. Mm-hmm. Here are the principles that inform the decisions I make. So you know where I'm coming from because you know the values that are driving my decisions. That is emblematic of strong, thoughtful executive leadership, particularly so long as the leader abides the same culture that he is trying to inculcate in the institution writ large. And I think that's a pretty good, I don't know a lot about Tillerson other than what I've read over the last several weeks since his nomination and a little bit of, knowing who he was as Exxon CEO. But I like the notes that he struck in that address. And he, while focusing on corporate culture, which is where the focus should be, particularly with what the State Department had become over the last 8 years with those two clowns, not the head clown, Schumer, but two other clowns from the Senate, Kerry and Hillary, of course. I like it. I think it's a clean break. And there's a humility, too, that Tillerson brings to it. But he made the point that just because he's new to the political arena in this role, actually, this has been a long run-up to this point.
But when I came back from my first meeting with President Trump and he asked me to do this, Renda said, "You didn't know it, but you've been in a 41-year training program for this job."
Is that true? I mean, do you think he has? I mean, the only pause I have is that he's never served a political role in his life.
And
his job is to make sure American diplomats are safe overseas.
Well, again, he has, in his job as CEO of Exxon, not just managed, led a huge organization, one of the biggest and most profitable companies in the world. He hasn't just done that. Because of the nature of Exxon's business and energy, he has interacted with heads of state, of course, most notably, and where all the focus has been his relationship with Putin. But he has an understanding of the world. He's had to, and he's had an understanding of the geopolitics of the world because energy is front and center as a geopolitical issue in addition to an economic issue. I don't necessarily like the idea of just somebody from the business world is going to bring business practices to government, and that's just going to work out. We've seen how that doesn't work out in many instances. But the reverse is true. I think this is very individually specific and skill set specific. The idea that because somebody hasn't had a political sinecure or been an elected official, that they can't do a job, even a job as important as Secretary of State. I don't think, I think it's fine to raise that as a question and a concern, but I don't think you should, not give him the benefit of the doubt based on the totality of his background and accomplishments, and frankly, even in his 11-minute address to the State Department, what he has set forward right out of the gate.
So yesterday was his first full day on the job, and there seemed to be a diplomacy shift. Now Trump saying late yesterday that Israel should stop announcing new settlements, so they're shifting their tone on Israeli settlements, saying that settlements are an obstacle to peace. They also talked about Iran new sanctions because of the ballistic missile test that they did, leaving the nuke deal still in place for now. And then on Russia, Nikki Haley spoke yesterday at the UN about protecting Ukraine.
This escalation of violence must stop. The United States stands with the people of Ukraine, who have suffered for nearly 3 years under Russian occupation and military intervention. Until Russia and the separatists it supports respect Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity, this crisis will continue.
And so with those three things I laid out, of course, this morning, CNN saying, it's a new day. Now there's a diplomacy shift. Donald Trump's acting more or following President Obama's foreign policy strategy.
Yeah, I don't think so. One, there's no adoption of the Iran nuclear deal. Number two, he also said that nothing is off the table with respect to options vis-a-vis Iran. Number three, because there's a recognition that they're violating the deal, the pursuit of new sanctions, that is different than the Obama administration recasting violations of the deal as not violations of the deal. He's not easing sanctions on Russia, so despite the fake news reports that he was. So that's a status quo, but there was no promise to spike sanctions on Russia either. Yes, Nikki Haley said that Russia should withdraw from Crimea. That would be optimal. It's not going to happen, but that would be optimal. But yeah, so you have more of a diplomatic team in place, and they're pursuing some of the diplomatic positions that are consistent with U.S. policy, like, for example, the desire for a two-state solution in the Middle East with the Israelis and the Palestinians, something that, oh, by the way, Bibi Netanyahu voices support for as well. The devil is in the details, of course. So, one day and a couple of pronouncements do not make for an extension of President Obama's disastrous foreign policy. I think there's a real desire to see that by the D.C. press corps. And there's a desire to see Trump kind of, now he's gotten into the job and he's, learned a thing or two and he's doing a full reverse on the things he said as a candidate or even in the first couple weeks of his presidency.
Yeah, that's pretty much the tone they're
of course
taking.
It is.
Yeah.
Of course it is, because that's the narrative they want to be true.
Well, they're just still
there's
always
not the
looking for
evidentiary
I
support
gotcha
for it
moments,
yet.
but they're always still looking for the,
That's
look,
right.
he faltered. I mean, they can't wait for Donald Trump to fall flat on his face. They're chomping at the bit for it.
Well, that's right. Now, again, so while this is going on in terms of, alleged about faces, and I'm not saying there shouldn't be some texturing of some of the positions he's taken, or you shouldn't have people come in and fill in the direction that Trump wants to go with more layered language and detail. I think that's all true. And I think, by the way, it's fine for the executive to set a direction and charge people to go fill in the blanks. Trump is not going to write the legislation to replace Obamacare. He's charging Tom Price with that in large measure. Right. That makes sense. Delegation is a part of leadership, and delegating to ostensibly talented people you put around you is part of being a successful president, because there's no way one person can manage all of these agencies, the federal government writ large, all of these parallel policy tracks. No way.
But do you think Donald Trump is moving too fast? I mean, of course, the lefty liberals that I never see. Why is he making my head spin? He has 18 executive orders so far. And I said, well, first of all, he has to fill the cabinet positions. Okay, so this is not moving too fast. It's just that you're focusing on the process for the first time ever. And his executive orders, of course, everybody's got their panties in a bunch over the travel ban, which if you study it, again, it's just extreme vetting. It is not a ban. It's temporary.
Look,
so, do you think he's moving too fast,
he's
or
not,
is this how politicians have been moving so slow in years past?
Well, that's part of it. Part of it is you have to seize the moment. And the moment, the revolt that led to Trump's election and to continuing Republican majorities, they want you to move. I mean, you should have a sense of urgency about this stuff. I think there's sometimes politicians and their operatives are, there's analysis paralysis, right? You want to kind of plan out all of the contingencies and try and, kind of think you're von Clausewitz or some great strategist, and it's all these inside the bubble tactics. Some of this is laying out a bold vision and then working rapidly in pursuit of that bold vision. People want things to change, and in specific areas that have been outlined, at least at the 30,000-foot level by Trump, and now he and his team are moving in those directions substantially, and they should. The other thing you have to remember is the lag effect on so much policy. So repealing and replacing Obamacare, that is not a light switch, and it's not going to change people's health insurance options and by extension healthcare options. If it was replaced today, that's not going to happen tomorrow. There's an implementation lag. It's the same thing with tax policy. There's an implementation lag and a lag in terms of seeing the results from the implementation. And so let's move. Midterm elections are 18 months away, effectively, and we should probably move our agenda while we have substantial majority in the House, but a majority in the Senate, too.
That's true.
Not only so we can maintain them, but so we have accomplishments going into the midterm so we can expand them. And so I don't expect that you're going to see much throttling back, except where it makes sense to quickly throttle forward and cross the finish line in a particular policy area. And so at the same time, you mentioned some of these foreign policy pronouncements from Trump and his team. We also saw Trump meeting with senators, with Wilbur Ross as soon-to-be Commerce Secretary, talking about NAFTA, or, excuse me, I'm sorry, it's already been renamed.
Oh, what's it named now?
NAFTA.
I love NAFTA.
I have very serious concerns about NAFTA. NAFTA's been a catastrophe for our country. It's been a catastrophe for our workers and our jobs and our companies. They're leaving our country. I want to change it, and maybe we do it. Maybe we do a new NAFTA, and we put an extra F in the term NAFTA. You know what the F is for, right? Yeah. Free and fair trade.
I was hoping he was going to say fair.
Free and fair trade.
The F could have been for a lot of things. Very unfair. So NAFTA. So he's already renamed NAFTA, NAFTA. Now he just needs to fill in the underlying terms. So
I put NAFTA on my bread this morning.
It's
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like fluff and Nutella combined. It's NAFTA.
Yeah, like the apple spread, the apple NAFTA spread. Jim in Tampa, Florida, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. With regard to the way Trump operates on different things, everything is strategic and proactive as I see it. During the campaign, with respect to Iran, during the campaign, he talked about, I'll accept this deal, but I am going to study the contract to the letter of the law, and I am going to enforce it and find weaknesses in it. But I just think that the things he does are so proactive. People aren't accustomed to politicians being so proactive.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. He's another way. He's always on offense, and even when he's in trouble, he's on offense. So you cannot get this guy back on his heels because you come at him, he comes over the top at you. Even frankly, in my opinion, where there's been instances where he's been wrong or he makes the situation worse. But that is who he is. You come at him, he's coming at you 5 times harder, and it's always going to be forward. Where that forward leads is a matter of debate sometimes, but that really is his posture. Thanks for the call, Jim. I think that's on point.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Today we're going to have some cold conditions still, some clouds, a little bit of sun, a high of 25 degrees. But your weekend looks great. Saturday, sun giving way to clouds. It'll be breezy in the afternoon, a high of 32. And on Super Bowl Sunday, we're going to have clouds in the morning, then some sun and clouds in the afternoon, but warmer, a high of 40 degrees. Let's jump into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. On the inbound Bishop Ford Freeway, traffic is bottled up from just past 130th to King Drive after a crash. 27 minutes, 80-94 to the Ryan, and the Ryan is 22 minutes from 95th to downtown. All clear on I-57. Eden's looking pretty good, too. Just a little congestion inbound approaching the junction. Kennedy, 23 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 20. The Eisenhower, 33 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 30. Stevenson, 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Tollways are good. No delays to report in Northwest Indiana. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hey, forget flowers and candy, roses for Valentine's Day. Do something different and take your sweetie to Punta Cana. Join us and Joe Walsh in Punta Cana, courtesy of our great friends over there at Apple Vacations. We'll be staying at the Secrets Cap Cana Resort and Spa, unlimited luxury resort that opened a few months ago. And you should go online and check it out. The rooms are wonderfully appointed. It has 5 gourmet restaurants, 7 bars, all the bells and whistles. To get more information and book your trip, visit 560theanswer.com, keyword passport. And right now, listen up. When you download or launch the AM560 mobile app, you can register to win an all-expense paid trip to Punta Cana and stay with us. Dan, Amy, and Joe Walsh will all share the same room at the beautiful Secrets Cap Cana Resort and Spa. I'm clean, so they'll like living with me. Just click on the Passport to Paradise banner to register. Hurry up. The contest ends February 10th.
Between my cats and my dogs, I never know what stains I'm going to find on my furniture and carpets. I've tried everything to get rid of pet stains. Sometimes the stains seem to go away for a day or two, but then they come right back. Well, after trying everything, I found something that works. Genesis 950. Genesis 950 is an all-purpose cleaner that I can use to finally remove pet stains for good. I can even use it in my carpet cleaning machine, which is great for getting rid of pet odors as well as the stains. Thanks to Genesis 950, I can have people over without being embarrassed by pet stains or the house smelling like animals. I also don't have to worry about exposing my pets to dangerous chemicals. Genesis 950 is green, so it's safe for my pets and my family. But it's not just for pet stains. I use it to clean my kitchen, the bathroom, basically the whole house. If you're tired of pet stain removers that don't work, you have to try Genesis 950. Check it out online at genesis950.com or look for it on Amazon.
AM 560, The Answer.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We were talking about Rexon's address to the State Department, which led us to a conversation about Trump's first 2 weeks, which leads us to a conversation about another businessman turned politician, Governor Rauner. We'll get to the governor who was before the Tribune editorial board yesterday in just a second. But Mike in Valpo, Indiana, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, morning. Trump is a businessman. So looking at it from that perspective, a CEO that's hired to replace the CEO of a company that's struggling or even failing is going to be looked at by the workers and the shareholders to make swift and decisive changes. They're not going to look at this new person to kind of glide into the position and dip their toe in the water. And as a result, in the business side, workers are oftentimes nervous or tense. Am I going to lose my job? Am I going to have to do something I'm not accustomed to doing? And I think that's kind of prevalent as well within the Trump transition. But how many executive orders did President Obama signed in his first 2 weeks in office, to put it into comparison?
Yeah, thanks for the call, Mike. I don't remember the number offhand. I mean, the whole kind of, who's signed more executive orders in the first week or 2 weeks is so immaterial to me.
But the Democrats had control of the House and Senate, and he dragged his feet on Obamacare and on immigration reform when he could have gotten things done right away when he took office.
Well, I mean,
and he didn't do it.
I'm sorry. Obamacare was passed in March of 2009.
Sorry, immigration reform.
Yeah, well, that wasn't dragging your feet. That was a strategic choice they made. We don't want to expend political capital to do what we said we were going to do. The path to citizenship, immigration reform. They just
within
didn't want
90
to do
days.
it.
So they just
didn't want to do it. They just walked away from it. So, and Trump has walked away from some things already too. The executive order that he was going to issue to do the national investigation into voter fraud, well, that's on the back burner now, as the administration is saying. So, there's going to be pronouncements and then reconsideration and some walkbacks or reprioritization. That will happen in this administration, too. And by the way, the idea of just because you come from the business world into politics, you're necessarily bringing business practices or you have this great executive leadership. There's lots of roles in a business enterprise. Not everybody's a leader in a corporation any more than they are in government. A lot of people are just, they have different roles, but they don't want to be leaders. They're not executives. That's not how they found success. They were a good salesperson, or they were good at, marketing, or they're a creative person. So just because you come from the business world doesn't mean you're going to be a great political leader, I guess is my point. Rauner, our governor of Illinois here, before the Trib Ed board yesterday, and he is the anti-Trump when it comes to making pronouncements, brash or otherwise. He is really throttled back off of participation with this unholy deal that was being concocted in the Senate between Senate Superminority Leader Christine Radogno and Senate President Cullerton. That's massive tax increases for paper-thin reforms. He was asked about that, was the governor.
Not paying the pensions, not paying our bills, and
do you think those 13 bills or any one of them represent structural change?
The issues that they are addressing are in structural change. I do not want to comment today on the record about any specific bill or content of a bill. I think it's premature. They're evolving. They're still not done, and I think it would be wrong for me to weigh in publicly about what I think are good or bad or sufficient or deficient.
We're going to find out.
A lot of vacillation there.
Well, he's withdrawn, and we're going to find out if this is smart. We're going to find it real quick if this is smart for him to let the process play out and then make a decision based on what's produced, or if it was better for him to be much more aggressive and much more public about laying out what needs to be included. Those are two choices. That is an executive decision he has made to withdraw and let it play out and see what happens versus providing the vision and demanding what is included, what should happen. I am inclined to the leadership posture, not the withdrawal posture. So we'll see. Rauner was asked about the Illinois Policy Institute alternative budget that was produced this week. We talked
with
to
John Tillman. Yeah.
We talked to John Tillman on this show about their proposed budget, which is constitutionally balanced without a tax increase. And here's...
Please tell me he read it.
Governor Rauner was asked about that by our friend Kristen McQuarrie. Here's the exchange.
What did you think of some of the proposals that the Illinois Policy Institute released yesterday?
I heard they put out something. I haven't studied it. I don't know.
You have no thoughts on, this is a group that you're close to, that you have worked with in the past, and they put out what they say is a budget that doesn't raise taxes.
Good for them. I've seen a lot of ideas.
That's it? Okay.
That's an interesting choice that he made.
That made me cringe.
It's an approach. I'm gonna be Pontius Pilate, whether it's Illinois Policy Institute ideas, whether it's whatever's coming from Senate Republicans and Democrats. I'm just going to wait and watch and see.
But he sounds wishy-washy, and he doesn't seem assertive or strong, and that's why a lot of people elected him, was to shake up Sacadora de Springfield.
Yeah. I think that's right. I think he is making a strategic error, as I sort of intimated. I understand what he's trying to do. I think it's a strategic error. I think they're trying to tamp down the revolt in Illinois rather than stoke it. And the path towards changing Illinois' trajectory as a state, which is at about a 180-degree angle down, is to stoke the revolt, not withdraw. The outset of Rauner's comments at the Trib editorial board, to be fair, are more what we need to hear and see from Rauner, in my opinion.
Not paying the pensions, not paying our bills, and borrowing in the bond market is what we've been doing for decades. These are not balanced budgets. We've never had balanced budgets that I can find. And if we don't change that, we don't have a good future. Changing it is hard, really hard. And psychologically, it's a culture shift in the General Assembly that's, it's monumental.
Exactly. It's a culture shift. The change is hard, and it's not going to come from those people that are perpetuating a culture of unbalanced budgets and profligate spending and tax increases and economic devastation. So Rauner needs to work the logic of his comments. There's the culture change in the General Assembly is required, but I'm going to sit on my hands and wait to see what that General Assembly produces. This is where we need you to lead, Governor.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
This is Eric Metaxas. Over the last year, I've been telling you about Liberty University's online degree programs, and many of you have begun completing your education through Liberty. For those of you who have not taken the step, a new year always offers new opportunities, so why not make 2017 the year you finally decide to finish your degree? Liberty University is the world's largest Christian university with over 95,000 students studying around the world through Liberty's online programs. So maybe you've procrastinated. You may have even convinced yourself that you just don't have the time. Well, the only thing standing in the way of completing your college education now is you. So whatever your excuses or reasons, 2017 can be the year you make it happen, but you need to start now. So pick up your cell phone and dial pound 250 and say the keywords Liberty University. That's pound 250 and say the keywords Liberty University. Flexible, affordable, possible. Liberty University online. Dial pound 250 and say the keywords Liberty University.
Running a business can be challenging, especially here in Illinois, as we were just discussing. You face mountains of regulations on top of mountains of taxes and fees. and more tax hikes could be in the offing. Business owners who manage to survive and thrive deserve to be recognized. That's exactly what we here at AM 560 The Answer are going to do. This spring, we'll be hitting the road on the AM 560 Business Tour presented by Signature Bank. It's a way for us to celebrate local businesses who are overcoming the odds and succeeding in spite of the many challenges they face. Think of it as making businesses great again. We want to give back to the business community by broadcasting this show live from various locations throughout Chicagoland. Kicked it off Wednesday at Signature Bank in Chicago. Next Wednesday, we're going to be at ServiceMaster in Downers Grove. Does your business have a great success story? If so, we want to hear about it. Go to 560theanswer.com/business and fill out the brief form to tell us about how you and your business are beating the odds to serve your clients and your community. We'll select several businesses as stops on our AM 560 Business Tour, and we'll broadcast from your location to share your success with our audience. So go to 560theanswer.com/business to tell us your story. That's 560theanswer.com/business. And we may be stopping at your business this spring on the AM 560 Business Tour, sponsored by Signature Bank.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Property taxes in Illinois, the Wrigley Mansion story at 6:36.
And pizzas for Patriots. Yes, it's Super Bowl weekend, how you can help. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
12 degrees, some clouds, winds north at 8. Authorities in Paris say a man who tried to attack soldiers near the famous Louvre Museum today was carrying machetes and shouted, "God is great" in Arabic. According to those on the scene, authorities investigating say the man was stopped from entering a nearby shopping center with 2 backpacks. He pulled out knives or machetes and attacked a group of soldiers. One soldier shot the man 5 times. One soldier was slightly wounded. The U.S. plans to slap Iran with new sanctions as early as today, the move in response to Iran's test launch of a ballistic missile. Congress is moving to roll back a regulation that would bar some who may have mental illness from buying guns. The House has voted 235 to 180 to block a rule that would require the Social Security Administration to send to the federal background check system the names of people found mentally incapable of handling their own finances. An Afghan policeman has turned his rifle on colleagues, killing 8. A police spokesman says the attack happened while they were sleeping last night. A Navy SEAL killed in a weekend raid in Yemen, receiving a posthumous promotion. The Navy has promoted William Ryan Owens of Peoria to Senior Petty Chief, effective January 29th, the day he died. 2 are wounded, 1 critically, following a shooting on Chicago's southwest side early this morning near 63rd and Rockwell. And 2 students are facing disorderly conduct charges after a bomb threat forced the evacuation of Wakanda High School. Patrick Kane with a goal and a helper in the Blackhawks win over Arizona. College hoops, Green Bay topped UIC. The news, a service of LifeLock. Grabbing coffee or breakfast? If you swipe your card, you leave a trail of digital information thieves can use to steal your identity. Ever hear of LifeLock? Their U.S.-based team of specialists help resolve identity theft problems. Go to LifeLock.com now. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. 6:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager always asks the right questions.
I would like to ask Mexican people, do you have a barrier between your country and your southern neighbor, Guatemala? And the answer is yes. Why is it okay for Mexico to block Guatemalans, but it is not okay for the U.S. to block Mexicans?
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Life can get a little hectic, so good sleep really matters. With a Beautyrest Silver mattress, you'll wake up refreshed and ready to go. Embrace the day ahead. Get the sleep you deserve. Get Beautyrest Silver.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Balance of Nature is celebrating its 20th anniversary by providing you the best offer they've ever given. 2 free months of fruits and veggies and free shipping. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
It is 6:38. Let's get an update on the roads and our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The Edens is heavy inbound from Toohey to the junction. 22 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 20. The Kennedy, 27 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 21. The Eisenhower, now 39 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 32. Stevenson, 44 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 25 minutes, 8094 to the merge. Toys are all still pretty light, and traffic is a service of Staples. Filing your own taxes this year? Staples helps you be accountable with everything you need for tax season for less, with storage boxes and filing supplies to software like QuickBooks and TurboTax. And right now, get up to $15 off when you buy TurboTax. In-store only, ends 4/1/17. Staples, make more happen. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. A cold day ahead. We'll have clouds and sunshine mixed and a high of 25. Currently some clouds and 12. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Illinois Rising, hosted by Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute. Sunday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy. So, Amy, we talked about property taxes. We've started doing some exposés. Well, the newspapers I co-founded have.
Okay.
Yesterday we talked about property values, home values on the North Shore communities and DuPage County communities, and what has happened to them between January of 2007 and January of 2015, how home values in every community in DuPage County, every community on the North Shore, these are, upper and upper middle income communities for the most part, down between 15 and 45% over that period.
And you had a great example of someone that bought a 13-acre manufacturing site for $100,000, but the property taxes were $90,000.
$99,000. That's
oh my God.
Chicago Heights. That's a commercial property. Right. So that's the property tax classification system in Cook County, which nobody understands. It's impossible to understand. It's really a issue statewide because it's not transparent. It should be simplified, some market-based valuation, and then, as I've suggested, cap at a percentage of home value, say 1%, like Indiana does, like California does, and it can only increase based on improving the property or selling the property. So here's what's actually happening in Illinois, even getting past the stats. If your property value goes up, your home value goes up, your property taxes go up. And if your home value goes down, your property taxes go up. That's a problem. And the result is that Illinoisans pay property taxes as a percentage of home value 80% higher than the national average. That's
So
a
basically,
Realty Track
yeah,
study.
The government owns my house.
Correct. And here's the thing. We were talking about the two regions, and we'll have the south suburbs and the other Collier counties next week. Got an email from a commercial insurer, and he makes a very good point, and he makes it succinctly, so I'll just borrow from Randy here about how property taxes are assessed, and that's the beginning of the problem. The way your taxes are determined seems to be a mystery to most, Randy writes to us. Your assessment only has to do with your proportionate contribution toward the budget set by the total of all the taxing authorities that have taxing power over your property. That's why your assessment can go down and your taxes can still go up. The number of taxing authorities and their out-of-control budgets are the two problems in Illinois. Those are two of the problems, there's no question. And that's a nice, succinct explanation for the mysticism behind property tax or behind the assessments, and thus the confusion over, well, my assessment went down, my property taxes went up, for example. Your property taxes are always going up. And the real driver of property taxes, particularly in the suburbs and the Collier counties, school spending. And so what we did is look at school spending. So while these communities were seeing their home values go down by 30%, they were seeing their local school district increase spending by 20, 25, 30%. See, government is recession-proof, and they're willing to destroy the equity in your home to ensure they're recession-proof. And then we got some criticism. Oh, well, you started at the top of the market before the bubble burst, so that's unfair. The 2007 to 2015 window. 2007 is when Zillow first started keeping records on median home price, and that's what we use, Zillow. So that's part of it. But the other part of it is we actually projected out to what it will look like in these same communities in 2023, so 6 years from now. So now you've got a 15-year review of property values. And let me tell you, the projections based on the track we're on for 2023 are manifestly worse than the reality today in terms of home value being destroyed as property taxes are increasing. So for anybody who is still in this suspension of disbelief cloud with respect to what's happening to your home and at whose hands, and you want to kind of play methodology games, bring it, because we'll source the data and we'll give you as wide a view as you want in terms of what's happening to this state and what is going to happen absent substantial, structural, fundamental policy change. Let me just give you another example. You mentioned the Chicago Heights example.
Mm-hmm.
It's another story that we did. This is posted on ChicagoCitywire.com. You know the Wrigley Mansion in Lincoln Park.
Oh, yeah. It's up for sale again.
Yeah, well, that's kind of a recurring theme. This is a 4-story, 15,000 square foot mansion, 2644 North Lakeview Avenue.
Got a beautiful grand ballroom on the top floor. It's 6 bedrooms, I think, or 9 bedrooms, 6 baths. God, I can't really remember that. Am I right?
9 bedrooms, solarium, marble fireplaces, coach house. Oh. It's owned by the Bank of America because it was a foreclosure.
Somebody didn't pay the bill?
Right.
They just mailed back the keys?
The property tax bill in 2006, $33,000. Well, $34,000, round up. $34,000. The property tax bill in 2015, $150,000.
What?
Jumped 440% the past decade.
Oh, no one's going to buy that house.
Well, the last person who did in 2006, in 2004, I should say, Ted Tetzlaff, who is a well-known lawyer. He was a Jenner and Block for a long time. He was general counselor to Tenneco, and he was chairman of McPeer, so he's kind of a political, legal heavyweight in the city. He bought it in 2004 for $9 million. That's $11.5 million in 2016 dollars. Today, Bank of America is selling it for $7.15. So in 2004, Tetzlaff paid, in constant dollars, $11.4 million. It's being sold today by the bank for $7.15 million. In 2004, the property tax bill, as I mentioned, 34 grand. It jumped to 100 grand in 2008, then 143 in 2012, and then 150,000 in 2015. Tetzlaff listed the home for $9.5 million, found no takers, and ultimately it was foreclosed upon. So this is, the uber high end, of course. But whether you're talking about the commercial property in Chicago Heights, Craig Duchossois Place in Flossmoor, the Wrigley Mansion in Lincoln Park, or just your run-of-the-mill $250,000, $300,000 single-family home in the suburbs, it's the same story. And the story is not going to change until people in these communities change their political leadership.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up next, Pizza for Patriots. Sergeant Mark Evans will be here. How you can help a soldier this Super Bowl Sunday. But first, here's your forecast. Today it's going to be cold. Can I speak English? Cold with some clouds and a bit of sunshine by the afternoon, a high of 25 degrees. Let's get to it. The Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Edens inbound. It's jammed Toohey to Peterson with a crash in the left lane. 27 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 23. Kennedy, 28 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 21. The Eisenhower's 39 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 32. Northbound I-55 heavy from past 53 to 355 where there's a crash. Then the Stevenson runs 44 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. It's fine outbound. Bryan, 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, a much improved 18 minutes, 8094 to the Ryan. The northbound Tri-State now has delays. Plainfield Road to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Spanish network Univision goes dark in New York and Los Angeles. Pork production higher this year, teeing up for the Super Bowl. Those stories next.
2017 is the year of Trump, and markets are rising to all-time highs. But economic uncertainty may be greater than after any election in our lifetime. And as retirement approaches, there's little time to recover losses. You need to hedge against uncertainty. That means transferring part of your retirement to physical gold and silver, stored where you can actually hold it in your hands and get it past in any disaster. It's the perfect time to buy. Prices are low and expected to climb. Make Augusta Precious Metals your personal gold and silver provider. Augusta cares for your financial position and helps you make good decisions. And they're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Get Augusta's free gold and silver IRA guide. What you learn could help you weather any economic storm. No obligation. Just call 855-222-6993. That's 855-222-6993. 855-222-6993. Trust Augusta. Protect your retirement today.
If you woke up to bacon and eggs today, the pork industry says there won't be a bacon shortage anytime soon. Prices might jump a bit in the near future, however. Pork production projected to rise by 3% this year. Economic reports due out today include an update on factory orders, as well as a new survey from the Institute for Supply Management on construction, mining, and forestry. Univision, the Spanish language network, has literally gone dark for millions of its customers in Los Angeles and New York City in a payment dispute with Charter Communications. FBI, local police, and security staffs are preparing for Super Bowl 51 this weekend in Houston. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Did you know that if you have mutual funds in your IRA, 401k, or investment accounts, that according to Forbes magazine, you could be paying as much as 3.17% in hidden fees every single year? 3.17% may not sound like much, but over 10 years, it's costing you 32%, whether your fund is up or down. Hi, it's Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group in Chicago and host of the Alpha Wealth Hour on AM 560. This is just one of the reasons I hate mutual funds, and you should too. You may not know this, but you have far more investment options today without the excessive fees. Learn what they are in my free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds. What you learn may shock you. To get your free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds, call 630-519-4742. There's no obligation. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services. Offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
AM 560, The Answer. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So it's Super Bowl weekend, and while I'm partying with Lady Gaga, Amy and people that are a little bit more patriotic and have concern for others are going to be helping our men and women in the military, and that's a perfect segue to our friend Sergeant Mark Evans and his colleague Don Lucky Jr. Pizza for Patriots Super Bowl party. Sergeant Evans and Don, thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Thank you for having us, and I want to thank your viewers, your everybody that listens. You've helped us all these years. We're just so blessed. That,
Well, we appreciate
we
appreciate the work that you do. So tell us what you have planned for the Super Bowl.
Hey, this Super Bowl, we're back on track. We're delivering pizzas to Afghanistan. They went from Boston to JFK to Dubai, and then they're in Kabul, Afghanistan, getting ready. They're prepping them to go out to the forward operating bases. And I have a very cute story. A lady called me yesterday, and she says, my son's in Afghanistan up in the mountains. I've been giving you for years and years. She said, I'm not asking for any favors. I said, well, he's at Camp Duncan, I guess. And he's going to get some pizzas. 50
So,
guys.
if you're in a remote location like that, how do you get them?
Yeah. Well, they have helicopters bring them supplies.
Wow. And they just drop the pizzas.
Yeah. So, and our other thing is 50.
But did she say, and this time, I'm not going to say again, hold the mushrooms. We don't want mushrooms.
He's allergic to mushrooms. Is that okay? I'm like, all right. Just pick them off the top.
Exactly.
But you
Custom
also-
orders.
Yeah. But you also help people here at VA hospitals around the country.
Yes. Thanks for bringing that up. Our goal is 50 VAs around the nation, one in each state. And that's our other part of the project. We have 3 things we do. And we do first responders. We buy heroes pizzas if they do something.
And it's this is the good
like
stuff
you
too.
two
It's
are
not
heroes.
These
Uno's
stop.
pizzas.
Me maybe.
Uno's, yeah, Uno's.
Yeah, this is the good stuff. Uno's.
Yeah, it is the real stuff.
But you came up with the idea because you wanted to say thank you, and what's more American than watching the Super Bowl and eating pizza?
Eating pizza, you're not kidding.
Even
That's
with
amazing,
the Steelers out
you
of
know.
it, it's still an American.
We started it
pastime.
back with General Petraeus. I emailed him, and he said, that's a good idea. Send some pizzas, and they can watch the game. So he passed a rule that they could watch it on the secret computers and all that stuff for the special operators and the Navy SEALs and the Mark Evans's janitors.
And you're responsible for serving more pizzas than Ray Kroc served hamburgers. Right? How many pizzas have you?
1.5 million.
Wow.
We've served, shipped over there.
Finalizing, exact numbers we want to give, but it's easy to give a figure of. It's over 1.5 million. So that's really important. I know some of the other things that Mark wanted to talk about were, if you go to sgtpizza.org and just click on the football, you're going to see everything that was done there. I know that you're talking about, Super Bowl activities and things like that. If you look what the Department of Defense and DVIDs did together with ourselves, because we provided the pizza, and they did this amazing thing for Super Bowl 48. I said, let's use that as a go-to pattern to try, at least try and do something like that again. But that's all on their website. Bruno Mars was out there. They gave a shout-out. General Dempsey gave a shout-out to all the troops. Every team player gave a shout-out. It was just, I'm getting chills right now.
So
it's
this is
pretty amazing.
Operation Pizza Bowl. We're calling it. We've been doing it many years. Operation Pizza Bowl.
50 VAs in
50
addition
VAs.
to all the pizzas that are going
home
over
and
there.
away. Afghanistan.
And what have been the soldiers' reactions? I know that you've traveled with pizzas.
Well,
one of the
John
years.
McCaskey had it. We can finally divulge this secret. 8 years ago, John was way out in the Fort Erie's.
This is George McCaskey's
George
son.
McCaskey's son. And he told me, don't tell my mom. She'll kill me. So, and a kid in Chicago who was in charge of the pizzas, his name was Kane, Sergeant Kane. He was over there. And I said, we got to get this guy pizza. He says, you know where he's at? There's no way. I says, you watch the Bears? He says, yeah. I says, who owns the Bears? I got real quiet. He says, you're kidding me. I said, no, you want tickets. You better get him some pizza. So we got him 50 pizzas for 20 guys. They had to drive 90 minutes out into the desert, and they met in the middle of the night.
What a story he did that. He's talking about Marine guys. He almost lost his life in actually doing that. And there's some pretty cool stories about people,
Emirates is shipping our pizzas. Can you believe that? Emirates this time they stood in and because DHL pulled out. And Mia Cargo out of Elk Grove.
All right,
Nancy.
great.
So we're
very nice. That's excellent. So
Thank you.
a lot of partners. Give us the website again for people who want to
Pizza is
participate.
the number 4 patriots.com.
Pizzas
for
number 4
patriots.com. $20 can buy 2 guys a pizza over there.
That's
with
great.
all the shipping and all the stuff. And what else we got?
SGTpizza.org is the same thing. It'll point there. It's
And
easy to remember.
OperationPizzaBowl.com. You can look at that. Now, Dan, give us 100 push-ups. What's going on? You've been doing
All
them?
right, that's
push-ups
good.
for Patriots.
That's
I know
good.
Amy does them.
I'll do 100 between
She
now
does
and the end of
yoga
the
for
show,
Yankees.
maybe. Yes,
She does her
exactly.
yoga.
Yeah. Yoga for Yankees, you and all your
There you
Lakeview
go.
friends. Yeah, why don't you get into the act? All right, Sergeant Mark Evans, Don Lucky Jr., Pizza for
Amy's
Patriots.
doing more than you.
Pizza, the number 4
What's the deal?
patriots.com. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. Keep up
Thank
the great
you,
work.
everyone out
Appreciate
there. Take
it.
care. Happy Super Bowl.
Hope your favorite team wins.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Make the big football game on Super Sunday extra special this year by enjoying a fabulous microbrew. And the best way to get that microbrew is by heading to Sal's. Sal's Beverage World offers an extensive selection of hard-to-find beers and wines from around the world in every spirit imaginable. And unlike your grocer, Sal's offers expert advice on choosing the right beer, wine, or spirit at a great price. When you want more than just ordinary, stop in at Sal's in Elmhurst, Addison, or Villa Park, and you'll find it. You can also order online at salsbeverageworld.com. Mention AM 560 and get a 20% discount on the regular price beers or wines for the big football game on Sunday. Don't settle on the usual from your local grocers. You could find yourself saying, that's not bad, instead of, that's perfect. Get it right at Sal's Beverage World. That's Sal's Beverage World in Elmhurst, Addison, and Villa Park.
Hey, there's a lot of talk right now about school choice. Well, if you've always felt like you didn't really have a choice to send your kids to a private school because of the cost, then listen up. We want to remind you about halfpriceschools.com. At halfpriceschools.com, you can find local private schools from all over the Chicagoland area that are offering vouchers for a full year of tuition at, you guessed it, half the price. There's no catch. So find a school near you, purchase a tuition voucher, and prepare your child to send your child off to school this fall. Make private school a real option for your family for the first time this year, but don't wait. These vouchers will sell out. Visit halfpriceschools.com today. That's halfpriceschools.com.
At 6:59, here are the stories we're following on WIND Chicago. Wakanda High School evacuated following a bomb threat. Chicago police say a man tried to lure 2 girls on the north side. Blackhawks took down the Coyotes last night, and WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony.
On this vote, the ayes are 52, the nays are 48.
And with that early morning vote in the Senate, a controversial Trump cabinet nominee clears another hurdle. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the full Senate will take a final confirmation vote Monday on Betsy DeVos for Education Secretary after lawmakers took a vote ending debate on her nomination. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer appealed to Republicans to change their minds.
Sometimes loyalty to a new president demands a bit too much. With this nominee, it does.
DeVos's support for charter schools, a flashpoint for lawmakers. Republican Lamar Alexander supports DeVos and charter schools.
Teachers have more freedom and parents have more choices.
With the defection of 2 Republicans, Vice President Mike Pence is expected to cast a tie-breaking vote. Dave.
Now, Rachel, the president tweeted this morning Iran is playing with fire. And this says the U.S. could put new sanctions on Iran as soon as today over recent missile tests.
Exactly what they'll entail and how effective they'll be is still a little unclear. What is clear is that the Trump administration is determined to get tough on Iran after what it's described as 8 years of weakness on the international stage. A top advisor to Iran's supreme leader said his country won't yield to useless threats from an inexperienced person.
Fox's Garrett Tenney. President Trump also tweeted a few minutes ago about what happened in Paris this morning. Someone carrying 2 machetes attacked a soldier outside the Louvre Museum, but was shot and seriously wounded. The president wrote in his post it was a radical Islamic terrorist. France on edge again. Get smart, U.S. There were a lot of tweets from the president this morning. Another one, professional anarchist thugs and paid protesters are proving the point of millions who voted to make America great again hours after protesters clashed with police at New York University. Some were arrested trying to disrupt a conservative speaker on campus the day after a riot at UC Berkeley over a conservative speaking there. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
In Chicago this morning, skies are Partly cloudy, and we'll see clouds and sun mixed throughout the day. 7:02 is our time on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. 2 are wounded, 1 critically following a shooting on Chicago's southwest side. Police say a woman was standing on a front porch early this morning near 63rd and Rockwell when 2 people walked up and shot her in the head. 2 students are facing disorderly conduct charges after a bomb threat forced the evacuation of northwest suburban Wakanda High School. Authorities later searched that building after a hard lockdown and determined the threat was not credible. Authorities say a suburban Chicago man fatally shot his wife and wounded another family member before apparently killing himself. It's an update on a story we told you about yesterday. Police in Monee tell us Damian Lee shot his wife, Tiffany Lee, and the other family member on Wednesday night, then drove away before officers arrived. Tiffany Lee was pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. Following a report that Damian Lee's vehicle was spotted, officers from the Will County Sheriff's Office and University Park Police found him dead. Illinois lawmakers are preparing legislation to ensure that state employees continue receiving paychecks. If a judge agrees with the Attorney General's argument, their pay should be halted during the budget impasse. Representatives introduced measures to keep the paychecks flowing in response to a motion filed by Attorney General Lisa Madigan last week. Investigators are looking for the cause of a deadly fire at a group home for veterans in Danville. Firefighters got the call around noon yesterday. And a longtime Chicago bakery is shutting down at the end of this week or early next week. Following 90 years in business, the Swedish bakery on the north side closing. The business has been selling baked goods since 1929. Blackhawks over Arizona 4-3. College hoops, Green Bay over UIC 84-80. The news service of LifeLock, grabbing coffee or breakfast. If you swipe your card, you leave a trail of digital information thieves can use to steal your identity. Ever hear of LifeLock? Their U.S.-based team of specialists help resolve identity theft problems. Go to LifeLock.com now. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity has strong opinions about the mainstream media.
The average journalist colluded with Hillary Clinton. They never vetted her. They never looked at the crimes she committed, and there were many. They never looked at the corruption of the Clinton Foundation. They never looked at Obama and his radical associations, the Church of GD America. They're lazy and they are agenda-driven. They are alt-radical left.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm 41 years old, a father of 3. I got into running and triathlon. I even ran the Boston Marathon, but I injured my hip.
A patient from Midwest Orthopedics at Rush and his surgeon tell his story.
An MRI revealed that Matt had hip impingement, so we offered him a minimally invasive surgery.
The great thing about Dr. No, he only does hips, so he is extremely specialized. He has it down to a science. And it's well known that Rush really does have the best orthopedic program in the area.
The orthopedic program at Rush is ranked number 4 in the country by U.S. News and World Report.
To make an appointment at one of 5 locations, call 877-MD-BONES.
Once I started running, I regained my form really quickly. I signed up for a half Ironman, and I completed it within just a few minutes of my personal best time.
To be able to go back into a half Ironman pretty close to the same level that he was doing before, it's actually pretty remarkable.
Let us show you how orthopedic care should be at rushortho.com.
Your company's critical projects involve improving processes, evolving business models, launching products, and realizing strategic imperatives. Integrated project management's core competency is execution, using process, leadership, and discipline to assure successful, sustainable results. Since 1988, IPM has led nearly 4,000 initiatives alongside our clients in a structured, engaging, and respectful manner. IPM's 7 nationwide offices employ consultants who excel at providing project management consulting to America's most successful firms. Their outstanding leaders leaders transform strategy into reality, providing clients with a competitive advantage. IPM has been recognized as a top small and medium workplace and great workplace in consulting and professional services by Fortune magazine and one of the 25 best small companies by Forbes magazine. When your company needs help executing critical projects, visit IPMCinc.com or call Integrated Project Management's Chicago office at 630-789-8600. That's IPMCinc.com. Nothing matters if you can't execute.
Guys, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. Luckily, Pro Flowers is offering an unbelievable deal. 100 blooms of love plus a free glass vase for $19.99 plus shipping and handling. And this week only will also include free chocolates. Order now from Pro Flowers. You pick the delivery date and it's guaranteed. But hurry, this incredible deal expires this Friday. The only way to get this amazing deal is to visit proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 3535. That's proflowers.com. Secret code 3535.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? At Ford, we go further to make it protective by offering vehicles with the most 5-star crash ratings. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. 5-star ratings based among full-line brands offering multiple cars, pickup trucks, and utilities. Government 5-star safety ratings are part of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's new car assessment program. Go to safercar.gov for details. Sales claim based on 2016 calendar year sales.
7:08, it is time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Time is right for an update on the roads. Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike, and we have some good news on the inbound Edens at Peterson. All lanes have just reopened after a crash. The expressway was actually closed there for a few minutes. Traffic still at a standstill from Niles Center to Peterson, but again, everyone's able to get through again. It's 35 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. The Kennedy, 26 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 26 as well. Inbound Eisenhower, delays start at 17th Avenue. 40 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 31. Inbound Stevenson, 42 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 35. The Ryan is 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57 is 5, Bishop Ford, a little heavy, Cottage Grove to the Ryan. Northbound Tri-State slow from the Reagan Tollway to 290. No significant delays to report on the other tollways. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Clouds followed by sunshine today, high 25, clear night, low 14. Then sun will be followed by clouds tomorrow with a breezy afternoon, wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. High of 33, few evening flurries, otherwise a mostly cloudy night, low 26. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
14 at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Military Mortgage Talk with host Tony Gatliff. Sunday mornings at 9 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Are you enjoying the protests? You enjoying the hysterics from the left, the tweets, the resistance, as they term themselves? Some do. Did you see this? Sarah Silverman, the Hollywood left?
Oh, boy.
Sarah Silverman tweeted yesterday, "Wake up and join the resistance. Once the military is with us, fascists get overthrown, Mad King and his handlers go bye-bye." Because there's no better way to express your support for freedom in opposition to fascism than to advocate for a military coup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The coup d'etat, that's what she's hoping for. Well, I mean, look at what Madonna said, that she was thinking about blowing up the White House. She didn't get arrested or even questioned.
It's all very measured.
About that violent comment.
It's all very measured, but I think it's
I
helpful.
think they're handling this well. Do you? Don't you?
Oh, yes, they're coping well. Here's the thing, too. You know, all they're doing is, of course, exposing who they are. And for those people that have qualms about Trump, and that includes a lot of conservatives, too, on certain issues. But, I may not like Trump on this issue or that issue or with this statement or that statement. but there is no way on God's green earth I'm going to align myself with the Sarah Silvermans and the Ashley Judds and the Madonnas.
Why'd you have to bring that up again? I still can't get that.
Can't get the stain
she was
out?
reading out. Yeah, I can't get the stain out. All
Yeah.
right,
Um,
from my sheets.
and it's coming to a city near you, like say Chicago. You're going to want to take out your date books. February 12th, 4 p.m.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna put it in my
February 12th,
calendar.
4 p.m.
All right.
You're-
That's soon. No, it's just in time for Valentine's Day.
It really is. It's a love-in of sorts. This is going to be in front of the Trump Tower in Chicago, 401 North Wabash. You know,
Wabash.
if you need to, you MapQuest it. Why?
I love saying Wabash
Why?
because it's awesome.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
If you're from Chicago, you don't say Wabash. You say Wabash.
One of the original Blues Brothers.
All right, so what's going to happen on Wabash?
4 p.m. February 12th in front
Okay.
of Trump Tower.
I'm writing it. I'm not kidding you.
This is
What am I doing?
a Facebook-generated protest. Chicago moons the Trump Tower. This is to get people to show up 4 p.m. February 12th in front of Trump Tower.
12th.
And moon the Trump Tower in unison. 100 people say they'll attend. Another 900 people are interested so far. I'm trying to publicize this because, I'm interested in this, but I'm going to be disappointed if you attend because it's not going to be the arses you want to see. You know what I mean? So maybe if we publicize this and broaden the reach, maybe the Hawaiian Tropic Girls will show up. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you live near Wabash, so
I
you
do.
could go. What do you think, huh? Who wants to see that?
Myself and some of my friends, we're going to right across the street, like at IBM Plaza there, just by the Langham Hotel. Which, by the way, Langham, recently rated the #1 hotel in the world.
Really?
Yeah, how about that?
So you and your buddies,
we're
you and your imaginary friends.
Yeah, exactly. My cardboard cutout friends. I'm going to have velvet rope area.
Okay.
And
Let's light up some cigars.
Yeah,
and just-
cigars and scotch, and we're just going to watch.
You're going to judge?
Maybe we will.
mooning?
That actually would be kind of entertaining. If the weather's nice, that could be a nice late afternoon activity.
So they're like, how's this going to work? On the count of 3, we're going to drop our pants and turn around.
I don't know exactly, but let me refer you to the organizer, one Bailey Davis, age 20. Certain things get people on their feet. Not everybody is going to watch 60 Minutes because they think it's boring. Oh, really? You don't say. This is not a crowd that consumes a lot of news content, Bailey. Thanks so much for letting us know. If you ridicule Trump or make him feel like he's the loser, that's how he blows up. That's what makes the Donald implode. So your calls, do you think this moon over Chicago protest will result in the implosion of Donald Trump and the end of his presidency on February 12th? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Will you be participating as a show of solidarity, a show of Chicago unity? Will you be, are you concerned that Bailey Davis is right that this is going to make Trump feel like a loser and he'll blow up and then his presidency will be over? Because that's some lucid thinking that's going on there in young Bailey Davis's mind.
Yeah, it's. I don't think it's going to be effective.
You don't?
No, because here's the deal: there's some nudity involved, then you can't get the local coverage that you were hoping for because they can't show that on TV unless they mosaic the butt talks.
The butt talks. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Jacobson, for elevating this conversation using proper medical lingo.
It's the butt talks.
It is. A related story of sorts in terms of kind of the voices of protest. This is one that's more serious, but at the same time, is Kaiser Khan becoming Cindy Sheehan? The Gold Star father,
Yeah,
right?
who
The Khan
spoke at the
family.
DNC.
Yeah, and they got in that war of words with Trump during the campaign.
He had the Constitution for Donald Trump to read. Remember, he held it up.
Yeah. See, I mean, obviously, I respect his family and his son's service to our country, his son who died in heroic service to our country. But it becomes something where you marginalize yourself if you become Cindy Sheehan, for example, and your ethics are a bit situational and you, frankly, like sitting on a lawn chair outside George W. Bush's ranch in Crawford, Texas. I'm not so sure that is particularly persuasive. This week, Mr. Khan threatened to lead a global boycott against anything and everything Trump. That sounds personal, not policy-oriented. He offered to walk barefoot to help elect Democrats to the House. He said he will push until Trump, who he referred to as Casino Man, makes all his financial dealings public. The only solution to these atrocities is to gain control of the Congress, Khan told Democrat lawmakers during an unofficial hearing on Trump's executive order on immigration. So maybe Kaiser Khan, as he's walking barefoot in every district that Democrats will send him, will make his way to Wabash on February 12th at 4 p.m. so he can drop trowel with the rest of our young and hopefully young friends.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
you don't want to see any
could you imagine if
saggy stuff out there.
Could you imagine, like, if Creamy Bob and his convicted felon of Calamity, Jan Schakowsky, if those two were out there and they dropped their pants?
I would love to see a politician join the Moonin'. One of those Democratic little tiny action figures that we have as politicians here in Chicago.
That's a really good.
You know, like who's?
Yeah.
We can get every alderman out there. I'm sure Brendan Riley, your BFF, coming from the Boss Bar, he could just roll across the street.
Exactly.
And drop trowel.
You'll be able to recognize.
Maybe he'll relieve himself in the Chicago River. Hey, I went too far.
You'll be able to recognize. He'll have relieved himself on himself. He'll have wet himself. So you can recognize Brendan Riley from the other 49 aldermen because he's always got the stains on his pants. Not the Ashley Judd stains, the wetting yourself stains. So
I'm a nasty woman.
It's a good question you raise. Which liberal politician's ass do you want to see February 12th, 4 p.m. outside Trump Tower?
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. You can text it in if you want to remain anonymous. 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
My choice?
Yeah.
Grady. Tony Preckwinkle. Yeah. Megan on the South Side. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Hi, Megan. Hi, Megan.
Hello.
Hi, Megan. You're on.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I don't think it's going to work, the mooning thing at all, because everybody that's going to show up is going to be young. And honestly, these young people don't know the issues. They hear what their friends are doing. They see what they see on social media. And it's all a big, feelings, whatever, so that, people don't have to actually read and watch the news. And they just do what their friends are doing. I mean, I'm 32, and that's what I was doing until before the election. Then I figured out a couple weeks before that there are actual issues to pay attention to. When you start doing that, you can't help but wake up.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Megan. So what I hear you saying is that showing your backside is not a persuasive policy argument. Boy, that's going to be news to a lot of kids in Chicago.
Hope there's no hanging chads.
Oh, boy. Ooh, ouch. Dan in Palatine.
Hi, I got a very good idea as to how the Democrats can defeat Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of protesting, instead of demagoguery, instead of Schumer crying and doing all these things and mooning people, how about just have good policy?
No.
And then get elected.
No, it's ridiculous. Yeah, that's a ridiculous idea. There's no place in 21st century liberal America. Thanks for the call, Dan, though. I mean, good policy. That's crazy talk. Ralph and Rantoul.
Yeah, good morning. Since most of the protesters don't know their backsides from holes in the ground, it would be interesting to see what they really do think. Why don't they, rather than hiding and getting sponsorship from Soros and people like that, professional communist organizers, why don't they line up corporate sponsors like maybe Preparation H, maybe Lip Balm or something like that? And for most of those people, you're going to need your widescreen to enjoy the film.
Thanks for the call, Ralph. I'm still soliciting which liberal politician's ass in Chicago do you want to see bare? Come on.
Which ones do I want to see?
Jesse White.
No.
You don't want to see
would
some.
never do that.
You don't want to see some 80-year-old derriere.
Yeah, no. Walter Burnett. I don't know why him. And I don't want to see my aldermans. No. Maya Pawar. No.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of hindsights to contemplate.
I'm really no fun right now.
Yeah.
I don't want to see any
Ed
of
Burke.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Maybe his wife Ann can join him.
How about Mike Madigan's skinny Irish ass? Tom in Oswego.
Good morning, guys. What I'd love to see is at about 10 minutes before Donald Trump come walking out the front door with a podium and actually have a countdown for them all to pull their pants down. I think you'd have a lot of fun with it.
Thanks for the call, Tom. I'll tell you what. I'll create an open invitation for those who want to join me for a cigar and scotch. Also, bring your paddles. Because there's, an action and there's a reaction. So as soon as they bend over, we can do the hazing.
Yeah, like from Animal House. Nice.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun? No, still nobody.
I have a sorority paddle you can borrow.
No, I know. But what about people?
Wait,
the politician. Well, that's fine too. I'll take
Rahm, because he made a lot of my firefighter and police officer friends retire early when they were still in their prime. Rahm.
You can understand he never had a prime.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Forecast for today, cold with some clouds. Right now you can see them out there. Some sunshine by the afternoon, 25 degrees. Then for the weekend, we're going to have some sunshine on Saturday. Clouds by the afternoon, breezy, a high of 32. But for Super Bowl Sunday, it's going to be nice. Cloudy in the morning, then sun in the afternoon, and a pleasant high of 40 degrees. Let's go to our best traffic man in the business, Jim Talamonte, who joins us in our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Well, thank you, Amy. Good Friday morning. Good morning, Dan. Eden's inbound in recovery mode. There was an earlier crash at Peterson, which had everything blocked. Delays start at Niles Center. All lanes open now. It's 31 minutes Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 24. The Kennedy, just 22 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 27. It's a light Friday on the Eisenhower. 39 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 31. Northbound I-55 has delays Weber to 355 with a crash in the right lane. And the Stevenson is just 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 35. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, stop and go Plainfield Road to 47. And from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower, northbound Veterans Memorial just a little congested approaching the Reagan Tollway. Northwest Indiana's fine. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
If you want a great night's sleep, if you've been flipping and flopping, tossing and turning, then you need a pillow from MyPillow. Mike Lindell, the creator of MyPillow, has the patented formula that will help it conform to your neck and back so you get the best sleep ever. You'll get into that deep sleep faster and stay there longer. It's not about how much time you spend in bed. It's about quality sleep. MyPillow, made in the US of A in America, has a 10-year warranty. You can wash it and dry your MyPillow, and there's a 60-day full money-back guarantee. Now here's another unbelievable offer. For a limited time, receive Mike Lindell's 4-pack special. You'll get 40% off 2 MyPillow premium pillows and 2 Go Anywhere pillows. So call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201. Be sure to use the promo code Amy to receive that 4-pack special deal. And if you've been putting off purchasing a MyPillow, well, it's time to finally start getting a great night's sleep like I do. Go to MyPillow.com or 800-489-0201 and use the promo code Amy.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Between my cats and my dogs, I never know what stains I'm going to find on my furniture and carpets. I've tried everything to get rid of pet stains. Sometimes the stains seem to go away for a day or two, but then they come right back. Well, after trying everything, I found something that works. Genesis 950. Genesis 950 is an all-purpose cleaner that I can use to finally remove pet stains for good. I can even use it in my carpet cleaning machine, which is great for getting rid of pet odors as well as the stains. Thanks to Genesis 950, I can have people over without being embarrassed by pet stains or the house smelling like animals. I also don't have to worry about exposing my pets to dangerous chemicals. Genesis 950 is green, so it's safe for my pets and my family. But it's not just for pet stains. I use it to clean my kitchen, the bathroom, basically the whole house. If you're tired of pet stain removers that don't work, you have to try Genesis 950. Check it out online at genesis950.com or look for it on Amazon.
I'm Dan Proft.
And I'm Amy Jacobson.
And we want to say thanks to each and every one of you who helped us to reach our goal of providing food for a year and water for life for 2,000 kids and counting in Haiti and Guatemala.
Your generosity means that these children will have a shot at living a happy and healthy life despite the enormous challenges they face.
And just because the Christmas season is over and we're starting a new year, that doesn't mean the need has gone away. You can still make a difference in the life of a child by making a $50 donation to Food for the Poor. Food for the Poor is one of America's largest and most trusted charities. Since 1982, they've been helping the poorest of the poor by directing resources directly to those in the greatest need.
Just call 855-880-3663. That's 855-880-FOOD, or go to 560theanswer.com, keyword food.
And thanks to the many business benefactors who supported this campaign, when you hear their ads on the radio station this year, we'd ask that you support their businesses as a way of thanking them for their generosity.
When it comes to probiotics, let's separate the facts from fiction. Fact, only a handful of probiotic strains have ever been clinically shown to support human health. Fact, you're probably wasting your hard-earned money on that popular probiotic that in every bottle of our Restore and Renew, R&R for short. Clinical studies have shown the many established health benefits of taking R&R, which include vital support of our gastrointestinal tract and our immune system. R&R is backed by Metagenics ID guarantee for purity, clinical reliability, and predicted safety, making R&R your smart choice in probiotic supplementation. So get your bottle of R&R by calling our HealthQuest radio hotline, 800-794-1855, 800-794-1855. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Gatto Industrial Platers, Inc. is the specialist in zinc and zinc nickel plating. Gatto is big, they're good, and they're easy to work with. Their high production rack plating line has up to a 15-foot capacity to handle any zinc plating requirement. Gatto's 210,000 square foot facility can process 300 tons per day and offers complete custom packaging with available pickup and delivery in the Chicago metro area by Gatto's own fleet of trucks. All of Gatto's products are inspected and certified to ensure that each customer is receiving the best and most cost-effective plating protection. Gatto is home to King Kong, the largest zinc plating line in North America that can zinc plate parts up to 27 feet long and weighing up to 10,000 pounds. For a quote and fast 24 to 48-hour service, call George Gatto Jr. or George Gatto Sr. at 1-800-290-1223. That's 1-800-290-1223. 1-800-290-1223.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
we'll review the January jobs numbers with our friend Scott Shalady from Fox Business at 7:37.
And later, an update on our bionic man. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
14 degrees. Right now, mostly cloudy skies. Iran taking the first swing, banning U.S. wrestlers from participating in the Freestyle World Cup competition this month in response to the Trump administration's executive order forbidding visas for some from Iran. And the official IRNA news agency says a senior cleric has vowed Tehran will be continuing its missile program. A French socialist lawmaker says the worst is yet to come after a knife-wielding man attacked a patrol of French soldiers near the Louvre. The man shot and gravely wounded in Paris. Sébastien Pierre Stanta, who wrote a report on the fight against terror, says France is now facing even more threats from outside as well as inside, from lone wolves and immigrants. President Donald Trump taking first steps aimed at scaling back financial service regulations. He'll sign a law today to reshape the 2010 Dodd-Frank financial oversight law. Trump pledged to campaign during the campaign to repeal and replace the law. Despite doubts raised by President Trump, Defense Secretary Jim Mattis providing strong reassurances to Japan and South Korea that the U.S. will stand by their longtime allies.
Due to North Korea's threatening rhetoric and destabilizing behavior, we are taking defensive steps like deploying the highly effective THAAD anti-missile unit to the Republic of Korea to protect its people and our troops that stand beside our ally.
Mattis also gave reassurance in Japan after a stop in South Korea. 2 are wounded, including 1 critically following a shooting on Chicago's southwest side. A woman standing on a front porch early this morning was struck and killed near 63rd and Rockwell. Chicago police are asking for your help in identifying a woman found on the north side near Belmont and Broadway. The woman was wearing a cream-colored hat, black coat, and cream-colored sweater and brown suede boots. She is white with gray hair, believed to be 40 to 60 years old. Anyone with new information is asked to contact Area North Special Victims Unit. Chicago sports. Last night, Patrick Kane, a goal and a helper in the Blackhawks win at Arizona 4-3. The news, a service of TrueCar. Using TrueCar, you can easily find the car you want. TrueCar users save an average of over $3,000 off MSRP when you're ready to buy a new or used car. Visit TrueCar to enjoy a more confident car buying experience. 7:33. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager always asks the right questions.
I would like to ask Mexican people, do you have a barrier between your country and your southern neighbor, Guatemala? And the answer is yes. Why is it okay for Mexico to block Guatemalans, but it is not okay for the U.S. to block Mexicans?
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's Galaxy's free sale. Free installation, free design, and free financing.
773-783-8300. Call Galaxy.
Hi, I'm attorney Stephen Leahy, and I help business owners, 1099 employees, and those with unfiled tax returns solve their IRS problems. And I'm also the host of the IRS Radio Hour.
And I'm Jim Leahy, the co-host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard right here every Sunday evening at 5 on AM 560.
The Answer. I know you want a local attorney you can look in the eye and hold accountable for solving your IRS problem, not some big box outfit without a Chicago connection. So today we have a special offer, a good night's sleep.
A good night's sleep? Are you trying to give away a pillow?
Great guess, Jim. But no, I want to help people solve the problems that are keeping them up at night. If you fear the IRS will take away your money, freeze your bank account, garnish your wages, visit your home or job, and now they can take away your passport, you need to hire me to solve your IRS problem for good.
Call attorney Stephen Leahy, your Chicago IRS answer man at 312-664-6649, 312-664-6649, and get the IRS out of your business and your life for good.
7:35. Let's get a check of the roads. AM 560 Traffic Center time. Brought to you by Alarm Detection Systems. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Edens, traffic is heavy from Niles Center to the junction. 24 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 23. To Kennedy, just 23 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 31. The Eisenhower, 42 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 26 from Manheim. Outbound 31 to Thorndale. Northbound I-55 heavy, Weber to 355 with a crash in the 2 right lanes. And the Stevenson is 41 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 35. On the Ryan, looking at 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive still okay. Northbound Tri-State heavy, Plainfield Road to 47th, and from the Reagan all the way to the Eisenhower. Traffic service of ADT. ADT, the security leader for over 140 years. Trust ADT to protect your home, family, and all you care about. When you have ADT security, it's more than a sign in your yard, it's a line in the sand. Visit ADT.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Cold and clouds this morning. Some sunshine later in the day, high 25. Clear and cold, 14 overnight, 14 right now at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
And this morning, we'd like to thank Jill Hahn for listening to AM 560, The Answer. Jill Hahn, thanks for making Chicago's Morning Answer and AM 560 part of your day.
Way to go, Jill. And January jobs numbers are out, Amy.
Anything good, Dan?
227,000 jobs created in January. It's higher than expected, and it's above essentially replacement rate. So it's a strong-ish report. Unemployment rate at 4.8% because the participation rate ticked up a couple tenths of a point as well. But for expert analysis on these numbers, we're pleased to be joined by our friend Scott Shalady, Scott the Cow Guy, Fox Business contributor. Scott, thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
So the January jobs report, what does it say to you?
Well, there's a lot of things in it, and a lot of them are mixed. I mean, the stocks like it. We've seen the futures market and the stocks kind of take off here a little bit, and I think that it really comes down to the fact that we didn't really talk about the average hourly earnings. You know, average earnings still low. We expected a 0.3% month-on-month change. We came in below at 0.1%, which is not good, and we revised down last month. So she's just not really seeing the wage inflation you'd expect to see at quote-unquote full employment. And there's a couple of reasons why I think that is. Number one is I don't think you can revive an economy on $15 an hour at Dairy Queen, and I think that that's a large part of the reason we really haven't been creating the right jobs. But number two is that we still have a lot of work to do, and I think Donald Trump's got a pretty big job in front of him.
Even though they added 227,000 jobs, and people are saying that the first jobs report crushed it, the unemployment rate still slightly ticked up to 4.8%. How does that work?
Well, because more people came back into the workforce, so there's the participation rate went up, so that's going to bring the unemployment rate up as well a little bit because we still have a record number of people that are out of the workforce, and some people on the left will say that's because we've got a lot of retirees, a lot of folks that aren't ever really going to come back into the workforce. And some people on the other side would say that's just because the jobs that we're creating aren't quality jobs, and the quality jobs that we were creating are going overseas. So that's about a 3 or 4 hour conversation over about 5 or 6 pints, and we can't really do that right now. But that's really the crux of the argument. And I would argue this. Something's wrong because you can't have below 5% unemployment, which would, economists would say that's arguably full employment, quote unquote, and have average hourly earnings go down. I mean, that doesn't make sense. You expect some sort of wage inflation or employers competing for people to work for them, and it's just not coming through that way. So I would say this, that increasingly this non-farm payroll number, which we all wait for once a month, is becoming really less and less of an economic indicator. It's not really giving us the real reasons why the economy is sluggish.
What about the economic indications from Trump's economic policy pronouncements to date, now that we're getting past candidate Trump and getting into executive orders in the direction of regulation, as well as pronouncements from members of Congress about things like repealing Dodd-Frank by the end of the year. But specifically Trump, where he talked yesterday about renaming NAFTA, because you got to add the fair to free trade as well. But at the same time, he's talking about some protectionist policies. He's talking about substantial corporate and personal income tax cuts. So how does that shake out net on the street?
Well, the street initially took his first 3 tenets, which were lower taxes, which obviously is going to help middle class and a lot of the small businesses. Then we had less regulation that helped small businesses for sure. And then the $1 trillion infrastructure spending plan. So those were his 3 tenets that he ran on and he wants to do. And the market immediately reacted to them when he was elected. But, we haven't really done anything for the last 6 weeks. The market's not waiting for the rubber to hit the road. We need to see the proof in the pudding. And even though he's been in office for only 2 weeks, and he's been at a frenetic pace with his executive orders and the likes, this is going to take some time to start to see these economic indicators and the fundamentals flow through to tell us that these things are actually working out. I mean, we saw big moves in the stock market, big moves in the bond market when he was initially elected, up until the end of the year. But basically since then, we've been on a holding pattern, and we continue to be so because these numbers are still coming through fundamentally kind of sick and not really giving us the feeling that, hey, things are turning around immediately. He's got a daunting task. Let me just finish it with this. President Obama was the first president in 86 years that didn't have one quarter of at least 3% growth, okay? Now, yes, he was handed a pretty bum situation. We'll all agree to that. But the problem with that stat is when you overlay the fact that he spent more money than 43 other presidents before him combined, and he couldn't still spur on the economy for 3% growth at least one quarter. Now, it could be some of the policies, sure. It could be, how bad things were in the beginning, but at the end of the day, that tells me that the job is pretty daunting.
Right, and then the 227,000 jobs that were added, in what sectors were they added?
I don't have the
labor
detail
market
in front of me. I don't have the details in front of me. But at the end of the day, the market was expecting 180,000. Last month's was not really revised. It was a very small revision. We had an ADP employment rate that comes out on the Wednesday before today, so last Wednesday we had a very good number from ADP employment change. So things are looking better as far as putting people back to work. But the problem is everything around that number isn't showing us what that really should be showing us. The real important things I still think are these hourly earnings, because that's going to be an inflationary factor, and the Fed really looks at inflation. And if you don't see inflation coming through the system, and I think that's why bonds aren't reacting like I would have thought they would have reacted this number today. Bonds are actually trading higher, which means the yield's going down, which means the expectation for a rate hike soon is going down. And remember, the Fed has said they'd like to raise interest rates this year, and they also, by the way, said they were going to raise interest rates 4 times last year, and they only raised them once, so we can't really believe what they say either. But at the end of the day, we still see a sick economy. We're putting up some decent numbers. It's like Kobe Bryant scoring 60 points, but the Lakers lose every time. I mean, that's kind of like what we're in right
analogy.
now.
Let me ask you a local question that's financially related, because you are a Chicago metropolitan resident as well. Fitch downgraded Illinois this week. A couple of ticks above junk status. Chicago Public Schools are junk. Chicago's junk in, junk out. Where does this end for Illinois with respect to its ability to, and Chicago for that matter, with respect to its ability to borrow, to continue to prop up these systems that are not financed and unfinanceable?
Oh, geez. Well, the situation is dire, and if it's not over, I don't know what could save it. But at the end of the day, and you guys talk about it on your show every morning, I listen every morning, but with more and more people, I mean, this state experiences the largest outflow of residents every year than all other states in the union. So we've got a less and less of a tax base to tax to try to get these services and things like the unfunded liabilities back up to where they need to be. But number two is that if you've got nobody to tax, where are you going to get the money from to just keep doing the things, the regular services that you need to do? And then at the same time, everybody's tax rates going up to try to keep those things going. And as your real estate tax goes up, you think, I'm going to get out of here. So, the realtors just over the border in Indiana are doing fantastically well, because obviously they're running their state a lot better than Illinois is. So we have less and less of a tax base to try to take more and more revenue from, to kind of keep things status quo. And because we keep getting downgraded, the cost of our borrowings is going up substantially. So we have this debt service that we're not going to be able to continue to pay. So I don't know where the good news is. I mean, I would like to see it, because obviously, I lived in Illinois a very long time, but now I live in Indiana, by the way, just because I voted with my feet on that.
There you go. All right, join the club.
But because so it's dire, and I hate to say it, but I don't see a way out. I really don't.
Well, and I suppose a leading indicator to draw that conclusion is when the rating agencies start to chastise policymakers. I mean, the rating agencies are kind of last to the dance in terms of signaling that this is going to a bad place in a hurry. And both Moody's and Fitch have essentially done that, but so much so that Rahm Emanuel took out after Moody's after their most recent downgrade of Chicago's credit.
You're right. And I mean, just go back to the way these rating agencies handled, the crisis in 2008. I mean, by the time they finally came out with it, there's a crisis. The horse had left the barn.
Yeah.
So we're to that point now again with Chicago and the state of Illinois and not having a budget. And then that goes to a bigger picture. I think that a lot of what Barack Obama learned at the state level, he took to the federal level. And there just isn't an easy answer. That's the problem. The silver bullet, or the thing that's going to make us better here, is growth. And how are we going to get growth in the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois? That's the billion-dollar question that nobody's got the answer to.
All right, he is Scott Shellady, Scott the Cow Guy, also the metaphor guy. Proof in the pudding, rubber meets the road, horse out of the barn. That's a lot in 8 minutes. Nicely done.
Yeah, well, you got to keep it simple for guys like me.
Scott Shellady, Fox Business contributor.
By the way, I've got a couple of jackets coming.
Oh, we get the cow jackets. Oh, awesome. All right,
I could be you for Halloween.
All right, we're looking forward to those cow jackets. That's great. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it.
See ya.
And he joined us on our...
That sounds like a sick cow or a drunk cow.
He joined us on our Turnkey Top Pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Speaking of drunk, there are 3,000 ways that you can say you're schmammied.
And that's one of them. You just slur. That's basically all 3,000 words.
But first, here's your forecast. Those clouds are giving away to sunshine. It's brilliant sunshine, but it's still pretty cool. A high today of 25 degrees. Your weekend looks pretty good. Saturday, some sunshine. Breezy in the afternoon, a high of 32. And on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, fun day. Clouds in the morning, then sun and clouds in the afternoon. Warmer, a high of 40. Any high travel times? Let's get the latest. In our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's the king of the castle, Jim Telemonte.
Wow, nice metaphor, Amy. Good morning. And don't drive a Sunday night if you're plastered or even buzzed, because extra troopers and police will be out on the roadways after the Super Bowl. Right now, thankfully, traffic's pretty light all around. I think a lot of people are making it a long Super Bowl weekend because the Edens inbound is now delay-free. Outbound, just a 5-minute delay. Montrose to Pastuy. The Kennedy, how's this? 26 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 32. The Eisenhower, 42 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 33. The delay is on northbound I-55 from Weber to 355. That's because of a crash in the two right lanes. And the Stevenson is 48 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 26 minutes, 95 to downtown. Northbound Tri-State heavy from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis. And from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower, the other tollways are much lighter than usual. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Last winter was pretty much a piece of cake, but this winter, we're told, is gonna be a doozy.
Well, the Farmer's Almanac forewarns that bitterly cold, if not downright frigid, numbing cold weather will be predominating over these parts this winter.
Not looking good, but you can be ready. Smart businesses rely on Air Comfort to keep them and their customers warm this expected frigid winter. Air Comfort is one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with dedicated factory-trained technicians that take a scientific approach to analyzing your system. They have comprehensive year-round preventative maintenance programs and emergency service, plus design, build, and install equipment for new construction and retrofits of existing mechanical systems. Now is a great time to call Air Comfort and schedule an analysis of your company's mechanical system by their certified award-winning engineering team. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity presented by Upstream-Ideas.com. For all of his rhetorical braggadocio, President Trump is acting like the know-it-all who knows he doesn't. Trump said he believes waterboarding terrorist suspects to be effective, but that he will listen to SecDef Mattis and CIA Director Pompeo, who don't. Allaying concerns of nepotism, including with his sister, the federal appellate court judge, Trump tasked the highly regarded Leonard Leo of the Federalist Society to lead the vetting of SCOTUS candidates and drive the selection. Trump decreed that every American should have access to health insurance coverage and thus quality care, but he's left to HHS Secretary Dr. Tom Price to fill in the details. Rather than presuming omniscience or micromanaging the federal monster, the focus of Trump's flurry of executive orders has been to reestablish simple truths like the rule of law. Homeland Security is a law enforcement agency. That includes ICE. They are to enforce existing laws and will be empowered to do so. Big city mayors like Chicago's Tiny Dancer won't be subsidized by the federal government to play pander politics with U.S. immigration law. A border wall conveys that America is sovereign land. You must introduce yourself and ask permission for entrance. Trump seems to know that clearly stated first principles combined with the talent to translate them into policy outcomes is the recipe for success. And that's all he needs to know.
AM 560. The Answer. Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, talking about Illinois and its economic situation has me thinking about what about the possibility of a new party, Amy, that we could all join?
Oh, talk of that again.
If the Republicans won't stoke the revolt in this state, like our Midwestern neighbors, maybe we need a new party, and we're in luck. Mike from the North Side has created a new political party. It's the LGBT Party.
The LGBT.
Right. Love, guns, bacon, and Trump. LGBT Party. Mike on the North Side's creation,
Okay.
not mine. He gets the credit. And there's a little bit of Jeff Foxworthy in the who our people are, who are potential the party members versus who are not. So Mike's outlined them and to give you an example of whether you would be someone who would be welcome in the LGBT Party and, find comrades in arms. People similarly disposed, hail fellows well met in the LGBT Party. Our kind of folks from Mike on the North Side. You call your living room the front room or the front room.
The front room. The front room. Yeah, remember when people used to call it that?
No. You drink pop instead of soda. Okay, I qualify there.
I qualify that.
You call I-55, I-290, I-90, I-94, the Stevenson, the Eisenhower, the Kennedy, and the Edens. Okay, I qualify.
All right.
You wash
Can
your...
I play too?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, so to jump in.
Okay.
I mean, the LGBT Party doesn't
fine.
wait. You got to. We want people that are willing
Tootsie.
to stoke the revolt.
Okay, what else you got?
You wash your car when it's 35 degrees outside.
Oh, yeah, that's as long as it's sun's shining. It's not windy out. Yeah.
I've never washed a car in my life.
You have never washed a car. Did you take auto shop in high school? I'm going to get you a hat.
I did not go to, the Mount Prospect School for Wayward Girls. So, no, I did not take shop.
It's called auto. Okay, fine, whatever.
Let me see, wait. Your favorite memories of the tribe were Bobby Beaver, Icky Witch, and Max the Mailbox.
Oh.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
Bobby, yeah.
Do you?
Bobby Beaver? Leave It to Beaver? Yeah.
No.
What?
No. The favorite members of the tribe.
Oh, yeah. Okay. No.
You knew you could find Dick the Bruiser and the Crusher at the International Theater and not collecting debts on Taylor Street or in Cicero. Hi-oh. All right, I got that. I'm in on that.
All right.
You knew it was a special occasion if Mom brought home Maurice Linnell cookies. I don't get that. I don't.
That's
Do you know
a
that one?
Chicago thing.
Do you know it?
No.
Mom and Nana shopped at either Dominic's or the Jewels.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Jewels.
And Nana, that's a great word. Oh, I love Nana.
You
Did you have a Nana?
I had a grandmother.
Well, you have a grandmother, and then your great-grandmother is Nana. Get it? Oh, I had a grandmother.
Undignified. You know the difference between Kittyland, Santa's Village, and the Children's Bargain Town.
Oh, I've been to Kittyland.
Santa's
Village,
yeah.
I have too. I've never been to Bargain Town.
Let's see, a couple more here. You've ever cashed a check at a bar and they didn't ask for ID?
Simon's and Clark and Foster.
You've ever worn a clean bowling shirt or bowling shoes to mass on the day of a big match.
That's awesome. That is spectacular.
You know what day smelt fishing starts.
That's awesome.
You
It's
have,
never too early for smelt.
all right, and we got to do not our people, those people.
Those people over there.
The other people, the non-LGBTers. You use different lawyers for income taxes, property closing, property taxes, traffic court, divorce, chancery, or probate. You've ever had the need to use a lawyer for chancery, probate. You've ever used a limousine for anything other than prom, wedding, or funeral. You have miles. You have miles. You have miles on more than 2 airlines. You've memorized the seating chart for the Lyric Opera and the Symphony Center. CSO is what it's called, Mike, on the
Yes,
north
Mike.
side, which of course outs me.
He needs to be more refined.
You've never been to Wisconsin Dells, but experienced the difference between Acapulco, Cancun, and Cabo.
That's awesome.
You've ordered pizza with pineapple, low-fat cheese, or turkey sausage.
Oh, no.
I'm kind of in between. There's some elements
you
of me
get-
that are the LGBT party, and there's some
Yeah.
elements of me that are in the those people.
Is it the pineapple on the pizza?
No, it's not.
It's the seating chart at the CSO, isn't it?
Yeah.
Danny wants to know where he's going to be sitting.
Well, and of course, limos. I mean, I've got, like an Ed Burke
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
town car with a security detail.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Check out the Ruger event this weekend at Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. All the latest Ruger firearms will be featured and on sale this Friday through Sunday and only at Point Blank. Point Blank Range and Gun Shop offers a state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, an extensive inventory of firearms and ammo, and a supportive, knowledgeable team. The Ruger event is this weekend at Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. Check out shootpointblank.com for all the Ruger event info. Some restrictions may apply.
Hi, Amy Jacobson here. You know, the best home improvement decision I ever made was to call CertaPro Painters. No joke. Last spring, their trained, talented painters magically reformed my porch. Property values actually went up. But now that winter is set in, let's get your interior painting done, and CertaPro Painters are the only ones to call. You know, CertaPro Painters is celebrating its 25th anniversary this year, and we invite you to experience the CertaPro difference. When they come into your home, they are so quiet they won't wake a baby. And guess what? The best part is they clean up after themselves. So with this new year, you should refresh and renew your living space. Book your interior painting project today. For a free estimate, call our good friends over there at CertaPro at 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's CERTA with a C. Or visit CertaPro.com. And we invite you to experience the CertaPro difference. I'm glad I called them. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Also in the Doze People party.
Yes.
You've ever had a close relative elected to the state Supreme Court, been nominated for a Nobel or a Pulitzer Prize, or have accompanied Amy Jacobson to prom? Then you're out of the LGBT party.
Coming up next, our brother in sound, Hugh Hewitt, will be here. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Wakanda High School evacuated yesterday following a bomb threat. We'll have the investigative report. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. More Americans were hired last month, more than expected, but the unemployment rate has risen. Fox's Ginny Casolo details the Just Out Jobs Report live.
Dave, there were 227,000 new jobs created in January. Economists were predicting approximately 170,000. The unemployment rate rose to 4.8%, but the percentage of adults working or looking for jobs increased to the highest level since September. The labor participation rate increased to 62.9%. On the downside, the number of people working part-time who want to work full-time increased in January, and average hourly wages barely increased. Dave?
Ginny, Wall Street seems to like it. Stock futures are surging ahead of the opening bell. A federal judge has put a temporary restraining order on President Trump's executive order, temporarily halting travel from 7 predominantly Muslim countries considered terror risks. Washington State's lawsuit trying to block the order goes to court later today. President Trump has tweeted, "Get smart, U.S.," writing France is on edge again after a new radical Islamic terrorist attacked the Louvre Museum in Paris. That man was carrying 2 machetes and attacked a soldier, then was shot and seriously wounded. The president also fired numerous other tweets off this morning. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
A day after putting Iran on notice for test firing a ballistic missile, the president tweeting Iran is playing with fire. He continued, they don't appreciate how kind President Obama was to them, not me. Meanwhile, ahead of the president's meeting today with his business advisory group, Uber's CEO quit the group amid mounting pressure from activists and employees who oppose the administration's immigration policies. Referencing his morning meeting, the president tweeted, good jobs are coming back to the U.S. Dave?
John, senators were up early voting around 7 a.m. to advance Betsy DeVos's nomination as education secretary. She has a vote next week for her confirmation, but Vice President Pence may have to cast the tie-breaking vote. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
14 degrees, clouds and sunshine. 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. 2 are wounded, 1 critically hurt following a shooting on Chicago's southwest side. Police say a woman was standing on a front porch early this morning near 63rd and Rockwell when 2 walked up and shot that woman in the head. A man inside the apartment was also injured in the shooting. 2 students are facing disorderly conduct charges after a bomb threat forced the evacuation of Wakanda High School yesterday. Administrators told police 1 student made a written threat, another made a verbal threat. The school placed on a hard lockdown, and students were then bused to a Grayslake church. Authorities searched the building and later determined the threat was not credible. Governor Bruce Rauner is warning Illinois may not be able to afford a full Obamacare repeal. Governor telling the Daily Herald yesterday he's told President Trump's administration that the state needs something to replace the health care law that's added more than 600,000 people to Illinois' Medicaid rolls. Illinois depends on billions of dollars in matching money from the feds and Obamacare. Authorities are searching for a man suspected of trying to lure 2 girls on Chicago's north side. Police say a 7-year-old and 10-year-old were returning home Monday in the 1500 block of West Fullerton when a van pulled up. The driver asked the girls to come over and get candy. The pair then ran home. Patrick Kane, a goal and a helper in the Blackhawks win over Arizona 4-3. The news service of Staples. Are you trying to acquire new customers for your business? Staples Print and Marketing Services helps you promote your business with low prices on presentations, signs, pens, mugs, and more. And right now, you can get 15% off custom signs and banners. Ends 3/24. See an associate for details. Staples, make more happen. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network and a service of Turnkey.pro. Here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, you could be able to buy shares of Snap, the parent company of Snapchat, as soon as the first week of March. Snap has filed for its initial public offering, which could raise $3 billion. Amazon.com's earnings were up more than 50% in the recent quarter, though Wall Street was expecting an even stronger rate of growth. The Labor Department releases the January employment report today. Economists are predicting more than 170,000 new jobs were created last month and that the unemployment rate stayed the same at 4.7%. Nordstrom is dropping Ivanka Trump's clothing and accessories line. Women's Wear Daily says the company's decision to drop the fashion brand for fall is not a reaction to political factors or any Trump administration policy. It's because sales were disappointing. The Dow and NASDAQ both closed down 6 yesterday. S&P was up a point. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 in Chicago and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Make the big football game on Super Sunday extra special this year by enjoying a fabulous microbrew. And the best way to get that microbrew is by heading to Sal's. Sal's Beverage World offers an extensive selection of hard-to-find beers and wines from around the world and every spirit imaginable. And unlike your grocer, Sal's offers expert advice on choosing the right beer, wine, or spirit at a great price. When you want more than just ordinary, stop in at Sal's in Elmhurst, Addison, or Villa Park, and you'll find it. You can also order online at salsbeverageworld.com. Mention AM 560 and get a 20% discount on the regular price beers or wines for the big football game on Sunday. Don't settle on the usual from your local grocers. You could find yourself saying, that's not bad, instead of, that's perfect. Get it right at Sal's Beverage World. That's Sal's Beverage World in Elmhurst, Addison, and Villa Park.
You need to understand that the way you build wealth is you do not use the evening news or CNN or Fox to set the tone of your emotions around your investing.
The Dave Ramsey Show.
If you're thinking of changing your investing patterns because you're watching the news, you need to turn off the news. You are in charge of your destiny.
Dave Ramsey. Weeknights starting at 7. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
When you get in your car, you program your destination into the GPS. You need the best directions to get to where you want to be. The same is true for retirement. You need a voice to guide you along the way. And in Chicago, that voice is Jack Taboda. Join Jack every Saturday morning at 7, right here on 560 The Answer. Jack's nearly 40 years of experience can help make your retirement journey feel like a drive down easy street. Take that first step. Tune in Saturday mornings at 7 for retirement planning with Jack Taboda of Taboda and Associates.
Guys, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. Luckily, Pro Flowers is offering an unbelievable deal. 100 blooms of love plus a free glass vase for $19.99 plus shipping and handling. And this week only will also include free chocolates. Order now from Pro Flowers. You pick the delivery date and it's guaranteed. But hurry, this incredible deal expires this Friday. The only way to get this amazing deal is to visit proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 3535. That's proflowers.com. Secret code 3535.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Test drive a Ford Escape and find out. With available EcoBoost power and a host of class-exclusive features designed to make life better. Compare Ford Escape next to a Toyota RAV4 or Honda CR-V and the reasons start to stack up. The 2017 Escape. That's Ford. And that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on 2016 calendar year sales.
It's 8:08. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Kennedy, traffic is slow from Kimball to the Hubbard Tunnel. It's 28 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Little heavier in the express than the locals. Outbound 32 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Eden's 19 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 21. The Eisenhower. 44 minutes Thorndale to downtown. Outbound travel time is 31 minutes to Thorndale. Northbound I-55 jammed 126 to 53 where a crash is cleared between 53 and 355, but there's a new one in the mix at Weber in the left lane. Then the Stevenson runs 43 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 34. Ryan 26 minutes, 95 to downtown. Lakeshore Drive is fairly lighter than usual, with really no significant delays. Northbound Tri-State slow from the Reagan tollway to the Eisenhower, and the other tollways are fine. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today will be cold with some clouds, then sunshine. High 25. Tonight, clear and cold with a low 14. Sun followed by clouds tomorrow with a breezy afternoon and a few evening flurries. High 33. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
In Chicago, 14 at O'Hare, 16 along the lakefront, 15 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, Amy.
Yes, Dan.
The election of one Donald J. Trump was in significant part a reaction to, elites and all of the civilizing institutions in our society, right? It was a rejection of the elitists' fatal conceit, to borrow a term from Hayek. And you can't quote Hayek to a lot of people, but you can do Hugh Hewitt, who has written a new book. Hugh Hewitt, you'll recall, is a nationally syndicated talk show host, Amy.
Familiar. You
Yes.
call him brother in sound.
He is on the Salem Radio Network on 120-plus stations.
He's on Meet the Press every Sunday, I think, if not every other Sunday.
You can pick him out. He's the one who speaks in complete sentences and with complete thoughts. He also really developed kind of a special relationship with Donald Trump over the course of the 2016 election cycle, who he interviewed a dozen plus times. He's got a new book, The Conservative Playbook for a Lasting GOP Majority. It's called The Fourth Way, and we're pleased to be joined by Hugh Hewitt. Hugh, thanks for being with us.
Amy and Dan, thank you so much. You didn't add in that wonderful intro to The Fourth Way that I've also shared a stage within the last week with Dan, where we brought all the radio professionals of Salem together. And Dan and I had a wonderful time talking about, and Larry Elder, about what's ahead. That was quite the interesting panel.
Yeah, it was.
Sorry you weren't there, Amy.
It was a great time, yeah.
I had to take care of the children.
Sure, exactly. Amy is barred from the state of California. She's a travel ban there. She's like what Michael Savage is to England. So that's the problem. So, Hugh, this book that you've written, The Fourth Way, one of the suggestions you make is that Trump and Republicans in control of Congress need to govern in the key of we. What do you mean by that?
I saw that you tweeted that out, Dan, and thanks for having read The Fourth Way and taking a look at The Fourth Way. The key of we is not revoking DACA on your first day. And so I really think the more that he can emphasize bringing together even 5% of his critics with the majority, the constitutional majority that elected him, makes it a permanent majority. And part of that is having humorous exchanges with Arnold at the National Prayer Breakfast. I think our national media has kind of lost their collective mind. I've been saying if this was the NFL, we'd all be in the concussion protocol. But they keep playing, and they keep missing the story. He gave a wonderful Key of We speech yesterday, which began with a tribute to the fallen SEAL Owens, and then went on to talk about the Johnson Amendment, and was really quite beautiful, as was his introduction of Neil Gorsuch. And the mainstream media is out there talking about the conversation tough with the Australian Prime Minister. They're missing it. He's governing in the key of we, but the mainstream media is missing it.
Well, the mainstream media this morning is reporting that he was a little under the weather. That's why he was agitated with the Australian Prime Minister. Did you buy any of that?
No. I think he got told for the first time, because I had never heard of it, that that a deal had been struck, and he lives up to deals. The first 2 weeks have been about keeping campaign commitments. So President Obama left him what he thinks is a stinky deal on the number of people he's got to take off of Australia's hands. And he doesn't like that, and he got, I'm sure he asked to be released from it, and the Australian Prime Minister probably said no. And so he's going to go with the deal, but he's not happy. And I know from my own experience with Donald Trump, when he's not happy with you, he tells you, which, by the way, is refreshing. How many times have we had guests who paper over disagreements? And it's not good radio, and it's not good conversation. If someone's upset with something, I want to know about it. I can't read mine. And I think, the world's going to figure out it's better to have a president who tells you what he thinks than Buddha, right?
So, right. Yes, I agree with that. And also, too, it's just built into the price, right? I mean, you're not going to change a 70-year-old man into somebody that he's not. Trump is going to be Trump, and personality-wise and off the cuff. And like you mentioned, the taking a shot at Arnold at the prayer breakfast yesterday. But in terms of governing, that's a different thing. And The Fourth Way, that's the title of your book, a reaction to the third way, which I took as kind of, rejection of the elitism of the experts. Yep. And so what does that fourth way look like? Because the comparisons to Reagan that we're wont to make as conservatives maybe aren't particularly apt. Trump is going to chart his own course, and it's going to be different than what he inherited, but it's also going to be different than the kind of golden era of Reagan that we hearken back to often as well.
You're right. By the way, brilliantly put, built into the price. I'm going to steal that, Dan, and of course not give you credit.
Yeah, just of course, a tribute. That's a trademark phrase. Yes, that's right.
It's a radio thing.
Trademark proft. That's what we call this.
Well, it is. But we priced in Trump into when we bought him, and we did buy him, and we bought him with all of the eccentricities, idiosyncrasies, and brilliance of the man. And there are ups and downs with him, and we bought that. He won. The fourth way says, hey, Paul Ryan conservatives, which include me, he ran on infrastructure, which we typically don't like to build. He gets it. Here's how to make it work as a conservative. He ran on a 350-ship Navy, Rand Paul. You don't want to build a big Navy? He's the guy who won. Give it to him. He ran on a fence. Build it. He ran on regulatory rollback. Do it. And then, by the way, he also ran on not reforming entitlements. But we got to do that. So if I'm Paul Ryan, I walk in with Leader McConnell and say, time to go big, go far, go fast, and this is what the fourth way is all about. We'll give you everything you ran on, but you have to give us entitlement reform.
Mm-hmm.
It's a deal, Mr. President.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that deal is done and sold, and they both agree on repeal of Obamacare. So the fourth way is actually the way of Alexander Hamilton. Let's spend some money on roads, bridges, ports, and on let local people pick what they need to get built. Let's build some public health facilities for people who don't have it. Let's build some larger jails, which you need in Chicago, evidently. Let's rebuild. O'Hare. Is O'Hare a good airport or a bad airport? I hate to fly there. What do you guys think?
Oh, I love O'Hare.
I like Midway better. It's easier, but O'Hare is it's a great airport. But it's just it's
and there's always talk of
bureaucratic.
expansion.
Yeah.
He talks about LaGuardia being the worst airport in America.
It's the worst.
I agree with it.
Yeah.
That is the
Right,
worst
so-
airport, hands down.
But
is LaGuardia.
Okay, but so he ran on rebuilding LaGuardia. Rebuild LaGuardia. I mean that's the fourth way.
do you think if he rebuilds LaGuardia that Lin Miranda Manuel will write a Broadway musical about him?
The first time I interviewed him, early in 15, as soon as he announced he was thinking about running, I reserved the web domain TrumpTheMusical.com.
Did you really?
I still have TrumpTheMusical.com. We struck a deal, but the parole evidence rule doesn't mean it's for $3 million. I would sell it to Donald, but I've got TrumpTheMusical.com, and we're building it.
You're gonna
I may do the music.
You're going to add playwright to your bio. I like it. Very good.
So, Hugh Hewitt, Senate confirmations hearing going on. I mean, how have the Democrats made the confirmation easier for Trump's cabinet picks?
The Reid rule. There's a whole chapter in the fourth way about Harry Reid. Thank you, Harry Reid. If you're listening, if you're in Chicago today, thank you. The only good thing you did was destroy the filibuster so we can get every cabinet nominee confirmed, every Supreme Court nominee confirmed, every federal judge confirmed. Harry Reid was a rotten little guy, and he did terrible things to America, but he did destroy the filibuster, and we are forever grateful for that because every one of his cabinet members are going to be confirmed.
Well, on that point, we were talking to your friend and ours, Andy McCarthy from National Review yesterday, and he suggested there's this whole discussion of whether Mitch McConnell should exercise the nuclear option on the filibuster, any potential filibuster of Neil Gorsuch for the Supreme Court confirmation hearing, if it's necessary. Andy McCarthy said, do it preemptorily. Get rid of it, because this is not where Democrats are going to dig in. They're not going to dig in on Gorsuch because it doesn't change the balance of the court. It's the next nomination to replace an Anthony Kennedy or Ruth Bader Ginsburg where they're going to dig in. And if you abide the rule here, it's going to make it more difficult to not abide it down the road. So get rid of it preemptorily. What do you think about that idea?
I think I never disagree with Andrew McCarthy, and you and I are both smart, and Amy's smart to always have Andrew on because he put the blind shake into Supermax in Denver. He's a really good prosecutor.
Yeah.
He's right. I'm hoping they force the nuclear option now. I don't think Mitch McConnell will do it unilaterally. He kind of likes the filibuster. He's one of the old school.
Mm-hmm.
I want it destroyed, knock all the shards of glass out of the window. And Andy is right because they will lay back if they're smart and wait for a Kennedy retirement or a retirement from the other side of the bench or a terrible thing to happen if one of the justices passes away. And then they will try and play on our soft Republicans, our soft ones. And I'm not going to name them, but two people have come out against Betsy DeVos.
Right.
The same sort of people would say, maybe we ought to keep the filibuster, and then we need a moderate. I don't want a moderate for anybody who comes in. I want someone who will follow the law. I want an originalist. And so I'm with Andy. I hope that, but Mitch won't do that. The leader will not preemptorily move to the Reid rule. I'm just hoping the Democrats are dumb enough, and they've proven that way over the last 15 years, to force the issue.
So how do you think Neil Gorsuch, if appointed or elected, how do you think he'll change the Supreme Court? How he'll change the Supreme Court?
He's actually better on religious liberty, Amy, than Justice Scalia was. Justice Scalia wrote I teach con law at Fowler School of Law at Chapman, and I'm here back in California for 4 months. Most of the time I live in the Beltway. And in 1990, Justice Scalia made his only mistake of his amazing career. He wrote an opinion called Employment Division versus Smith, where he said rules of general applicability, you just got to live within religious minorities, reversing a long-standing series of cases that said accommodate religious practice whenever you can. I think that Gorsuch will work with the other members of the court to overrule that Scalia decision. I think he's better for religious freedom than even Justice Scalia. So I could not be happier. I like Justice Willett a lot in Texas. I like a bunch of the nominees on his list, but no one is better than. Some are the equal to Neil Gorsuch.
I wanted to get your take on Trump's path, first 100 days and then forward. Where's the biggest danger area for him with his governing, the Republican governing majority, and even just kind of with the American people? I mean, my biggest concern is his neo-mercantilist tendencies, protectionist trade policies. You had a little meet yesterday with Wilbur Ross and some senators where he already renamed NAFTA NAFAFTA because you got to include fair in any free trade agreement. That may be a policy concern, but that may not be something that derails the success of his presidency. What policy area or pitfall do you see on the horizon for Trump that he's got to avoid?
Yeah, that way lies doom, Dan. Orrin Hatch put out a statement yesterday. The second to last sentence was, by the way, the Congress controls tariffs. And I was glad to see that. Tariffs are a disaster. And you can have a big stick on tariffs, but actually have a very small tariff. You need to talk quietly and walk with a big stick on defense and get our 350-ship Navy back, et cetera. But tariffs are just terrible. They're a terrible idea, and when he comes out with a tariff, I'm going to be tearing into it because it's terrible, terrible, terrible. Free trade, real progress is the incremental expansion of liberty and literacy in a growing number of regimes allied in or with the West around the world. That's the definition. Tariffs drive people away from us. They stop the growth of prosperity. I know he wants to reindustrialize, and there are ways to do that. I talk about him in the fourth way. We repatriate $2 trillion in stranded profits. You can light touch industrial policy and have Apple and Facebook and all these people build their stuff in Illinois and Ohio and Wisconsin. Well, not Illinois. In Ohio and Wisconsin, there's no sense in going to Illinois, right? We're never going to win that state. That's not a blue wall. That's a blue cement factory.
Well, geez, thanks for the encouragement.
You're crushing his dreams over here, Hugh. Please.
I left California for a reason, and it's because we are functionally bankrupt. But there are only two places worse in the country than California on unfunded pension liabilities. One is Connecticut, the other is the city of Chicago.
Yes, exactly. Let me one more point I wanted to get you to weigh in on. The constant bigot baiting of the left directed at the Trump administration, Republican Congress. Again, an example of this yesterday, Nancy Pelosi, right after the prayer breakfast, after she had gotten done with reflecting on the nature of man, she went before the press and called Steve Bannon a white supremacist. What should be the reaction for conservatives, for the Trump administration, for Republican leaders in Congress to the incessant bigot baiting of the left?
My immediate response, evidence, please. I have never met Steve Bannon. I have spoken to him once. I've had a couple of exchanges with him by text, and I am looking forward to sitting down with him because I do not throw that charge around unless I have met someone and have evidence of it, because it's toxic, right? It's toxic. I'm not a big fan of Breitbart. I don't use Breitbart a lot because they have a lot of young reporters who make a lot of mistakes. Jeff Ford is a great reporter. I read Jeff stuff by Jeff. But I need to talk to Bannon before I throw that around. And the willingness to throw around, that's an incendiary, terrible calumny. It's a slander. And it says much more about Nancy Pelosi, that she would use it without evidence, than it says about Steve Bannon.
All right. He is the eminent Hugh Hewitt, the new book, The Fourth Way, The Conservative Playbook for a Lasting GOP Majority. Must reading for every member of Congress and of the Trump administration, for that matter. Hugh, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Dan. Have a great weekend.
You too. Yep. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Hi, this is Maury Moreland Morrison, here to tell you Geico has more than just great savings. Much more. Yes, while Geico could help you rack up more moolah faster than you can say metamorphosis, they've also been the fastest growing auto insurer for more than 10 years. That's more like it. Furthermore, Geico has fast and friendly claim service. That might seem like an oxymoron, but it's not. All the more reason to say no other auto insurer has more than Geico. Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
The website upstream-ideas.com. Premium content that complements what we do on the show. Long-form interviews, 60-second commentaries, 2-minute warnings, Man on the Street, Follow the Logic interviews this week featuring Northwestern University students on immigration. Oh boy, it should be fun trying to follow that logic, as well as podcasts of our Illinois Rising program that focuses on state policy and politics. It's all at upstream-ideas.com. I'm Dan Proft.
And I'm Amy Jacobson.
And we want to say thanks to each and every one of you who helped us to reach our goal of providing food for a year and water for life for 2,000 kids and counting in Haiti and Guatemala.
Your generosity means that these children will have a shot at living a happy and healthy life despite the enormous challenges they face.
And just because the Christmas season is over and we're starting a new year, that doesn't mean the need has gone away. You can still make a difference in the life of a child by making a $50 donation to Food for the Poor. Food for the Poor is one of America's largest and most trusted charities. Since 1982, they've been helping the poorest of the poor by directing resources directly to those in the greatest need.
Just call 855-880-3663. That's 855-880-FOOD, or go to 560theanswer.com, keyword food.
And thanks to the many business benefactors who supported this campaign, when you hear their ads on the radio station this year, we'd ask that you support their businesses as a way of thanking them for their generosity.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm telling you right now, it's awesome. I was trying to get my blood pressure regulated, okay? And after 3 days of taking this thing, my blood pressure went back down to normal. I am ecstatic. I am so happy with this stuff. It is my savior.
This was the first summer that I have not had to have a steroid shot to help me to breathe.
The reason why I'm taking it because I've got Hep C. Once I began taking your stuff, it took a few months, but believe it or not, my liver enzymes are way down and it's normal now. It works.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life, but I should have ordered it like 15 years ago.
Between my cats and my dogs, I never know what stains I'm going to find on my furniture and carpets. I've tried everything to get rid of pet stains. Sometimes the stains seem to go away for a day or two, but then they come right back. Well, after trying everything, I found something that works. Genesis 950. Genesis 950 is an all-purpose cleaner that I can use to finally remove pet stains for good. I can even use it in my carpet cleaning machine, which is great for getting rid of pet odors as well as the stains. Thanks to Genesis 950, I can have people over without being embarrassed by pet stains or the house smelling like animals. I also don't have to worry about exposing my pets to dangerous chemicals. Genesis 950 is green, so it's safe for my pets and my family. But it's not just for pet stains. I use it to clean my kitchen, the bathroom, basically the whole house. If you're tired of pet stain removers that don't work, you have to try Genesis 950. Check it out online at genesis950.com or look for it on Amazon.
AM 560, The Answer.
Keep rolling. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Rexon lays out the core principles that will drive culture during his tenure as Secretary of State. We'll review them with Chief National Correspondent for Fox News Channel, Ed Henry, at 8:38.
And later, an update on our bionic man. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
14 degrees, like that sunshine this morning. Blockbuster economic report out today. The economy adding about 227,000 jobs last month. the biggest gain in 4 months. However, the unemployment rate little changed at 4.8%. France's prime minister calling the would-be attack on the Louvre today a terrorist attack in nature. French soldier on duty at the world-famous museum shot and wounded a man who reportedly tried to assault him with a knife or a machete. The incident led to the evacuation of that art museum and an adjacent shopping center. The U.S. is about to slap new sanctions on Iran in response to last weekend's ballistic missile test. The Senate will vote next week to confirm Betsy DeVos as Education Secretary. The Senate deciding to cut off debate on the nomination before dawn today. 11 are under arrest following violent protests last night at New York University. Fights breaking out when a commentator showed up to address a Republican group. 2 are wounded, including 1 critically, following a shooting on Chicago's southwest side. It happened early this morning. Police say gunfire broke out on a front porch near 63rd and Rockwell. Authorities say a suburban man fatally shot his wife and wounded another family member before apparently killing himself. It's an update we've on a story we told you about earlier this week. Now police in Moniz say Damian Lee shot his wife, Tiffany, and another family member on Wednesday night, then drove away before officers arrived. Tiffany Lee was pronounced dead at a nearby hospital following a report that Damian Lee's vehicle had been spotted. Will County sheriffs and University Park police found the vehicle and found Lee dead. Investigators are looking for the cause of a deadly fire at a group home for veterans in Danville. Firefighters say they got a call before noon yesterday. One man was on the porch, smoke pouring out of that home. It wasn't until after they extinguished that fire they found a man dead inside. Patrick Kane with a goal, and the Blackhawks win over Arizona 4-3. The news service of Discover. Become a new Discover card member, and at the end of your first year, Discover will match all the cash back you've earned, dollar for dollar. Learn more at discover.com/match. Only for new card members. Limitations apply. 8:32 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher tells the left to keep quiet.
We keep hearing about what we are. This is not who we are. This is not who we are. That's become the left's mantra all of a sudden. I love them telling us who we are. You know who we are? We're a country that elected the person you didn't want to win. Who we are is not who you wanted us to be.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
You're the one that gets it done. The person your friends call to see if you can fix it. Brakes? No biggie. Shocks and struts? Simple and straightforward. The catalytic converter heat shield? Come on. If it has wheels, you can make it go. But not having the right part can bring your project to a screeching halt. Problem solved with MyPartsGarage.com. My Parts Garage is not a big box store that needs to wait to get a part in. My Parts Garage is the warehouse that sells wholesale to you. They own the inventory, so your part is always in stock. But wait, there's more. Like free shipping within 24 hours, in-state next-day delivery, or pick it up today at the warehouse. Plus, the customer service is seriously awesome. So the last thing you need to do is drive fast and furiously to find auto parts. With the average driver in Chicago commuting at least 24 miles per day, people are spending more hours in their car than they do at home. Drivers need you, the mechanic. You need MyPartsGarage.com. Lowest prices guaranteed.
With beaches, theme parks, nightlife, and more, head to Florida for your best winter ever. Plan your vacation at visitflorida.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chuck Spaveri, CEO of Spaveri's Custom Counters, a Chicagoland manufacturer of residential and commercial countertops. If there's a local commercial bank who knows how to get a deal done, it's Signature Bank. When my brother and I needed it, Signature Bank came through with a creative financing solution. That's because Signature Bank has experience working with companies like ours, a second-generation, family-owned and operated manufacturer. Our business matters to Signature Bank, and that comes through in every visit and every phone call with their team, right up to the bank's co-founders, Kevin, Mick, and Brian. Spaveri's is proud to bank with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
8:35, time for a check of the roads. And in our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Kennedy, traffic is stop and go from Pulaski to the Hubbard Tunnel. It's 46 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 36 from Montrose, 24 the Express. Outbound, just a 5-minute delay in Montrose to Sayre. The Edens is fine in both directions. Inbound Eisenhower delay start at St. Charles. 48 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 31. Northbound I-55 heavy, Lockport Road before Weber after a crash. And the Stevenson from 355 to Lakeshore Drive is 45 minutes. Clear outbound. Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, stop and go Irving Park to North Avenue. Northbound Tri-State heavy from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. The other tollways are good. Northwest Indiana fine. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Cold day with clouds and sunshine, a high of 25. Clear and cold, 14 overnight. Currently 14 with some sun at O'Hare. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
Let not your heart be troubled. Listen to me, Sean Hannity. I'll have the latest news and what it all means for you. It's coming up at 2 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, Rexon, as I have termed him.
Trademark Dan Proft.
I'm going to see if I can. I mean, there's 75,000 employees at the State Department. Can you imagine if every one of them bought that T-shirt?
You'd be in the bank, man. You'd be rolling in the dough. Look at my guy here.
Could start sleeping in again. Rexon was there yesterday to address the State Department, and I thought, for a department that was so politicized and is so important with respect to our national security and foreign policy, I thought he struck, and because his confirmation process was not without controversy, I thought he struck a lot of the right tones, like a good executive does, in setting the core principles of the culture he says will exist during his tenure as Secretary of State. Rex Tillerson talking about his 3 core principles of accountability, honesty, and respect, and ending with this.
But when I came back from my first meeting with President Trump and he asked me to do this, Renda said, "You didn't know it, but you've been in a 41-year training program for this job."
Renda, of course, his wife. But it seemed to be well received, and maybe the State Department can refurbish its image in the public mind after its centrality in the election, right? Because of Hillary Clinton's ignominious tenure there, my opinion. For a review of where things stand on that in the State Department and other areas of the Trump administration, we're pleased to be joined again by our friend Ed Henry. He's a chief national correspondent for Fox News Channel, of course. Ed, thanks for being with us.
Hey, good to see you. I was just actually on the web listening to you here, trying to figure out, and it looks like, unfortunately, I've got bad news for you, that Rexon.com has already taken. It's a components company. Because otherwise, I thought you had a great idea there. You could maybe Rexon.org is available. You know,
Rexon, I'll buy them out of that Rexon.com with that T-shirt money.
Beechwood, Ohio, not too far.
Is really. Thanks for the heads up.
Hey, that's nice. See, he's an investigative reporter,
and it's my fault.
We're just trying to get down to the bottom of it.
Yeah, I should have gone right for the URL. It's just so it's a classic rookie mistake. Thanks for that, Ed. So, what about that? Because of the State Department's high profile in the presidential race, and because of some of the controversies around Rex Tillerson, because he comes from Exxon, of course. The notes that he struck in addressing the State Department for the first time, maybe some of the political divisions can be papered over there.
Maybe. Look, you're absolutely right. I had the same reaction to his first speech, which is that, people underestimate somehow, the former CEO of Exxon, multi-billion-dollar corporation internationally, and make it like, boy, can this guy figure things out? Is he going to be able to navigate? Right. Are you kidding me? Do you think that, Washington bureaucrats have, the upper hand over someone like that? I'm not saying that these corporate executives are perfect,
Right.
But they deal with a lot of international challenges. And so here you are. He takes over a department after a contentious fight on Capitol Hill and after the refugee ban issue, which is right at his front doorstep now at the State Department, with figuring out how to tweak it, how to make it better, how to bring the controversy down. And what is this guy who's probably got more money than you and I will ever see, right? The three of us. His first thing, he goes to the podium and says, "Hi, I'm the new guy."
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
Everyone laughs. You know there are Obama holdovers there at the State Department are like, yeah, look at this guy. And he immediately said, look, we're not going to agree on everything, but let's figure out a way to come together as a country because, we're in charge of diplomacy. And again, I'm not suggesting that magically everybody's going to come together, and I know you're not either. But I think, maybe this is somebody who people, God forbid, should give a chance to. I think I heard Vice President Pence say this the other day that, there used to be a honeymoon period where, the new administration might get, 100 days or maybe a few days. This administration maybe got a few minutes. And I'm all for a vibrant, strong press that's independent, challenging what they say and the actions that they take, more importantly than the rhetoric. But I think sometimes you look at the coverage and very few people are even mentioning the fact that on day one, Barack Obama had 7 of his cabinet people confirmed immediately by Mitch McConnell, a sworn enemy of the Obama agenda. Let's be honest about that, but gave him his team. Whereas here we are, about 2 weeks in, and I believe the count is that President Trump has 5 of his cabinet people. So how is it that on day one, Barack Obama had 7, and on day about 14, 15, Donald Trump has 5?
Well, speaking of nominees, Education Secretary Betsy DeVos, what's going on? What's the latest with her?
Well, there I think President Trump has a problem of his own making, which is that he picks somebody in Betsy DeVos who's controversial among some Republicans. And so you have moderates like Susan Collins of Maine and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska who have come out against Betsy DeVos. And so there's two ways to answer your question. Number one, this is something that it looks like it's headed for a vote where maybe Vice President Pence will have to be, unless someone else comes out against her, and then it's done, and she'll lose. But if it's 50-50, which is looking like maybe that's where it's headed, the vice president could cast a tie-breaking vote. But then you have an education secretary who just barely gets in on a tie-breaking vote. That's going to be problematic. I just think she's going to have a cloud hanging over her, even if she's confirmed. But the flip side of this is that I think, as much as I'm trying to be fair about how, I think President Trump, has a problem there on the Republican side, I think Chuck Schumer may have miscalculated on the Democratic side by sort of launching this big battle against the entire Trump cabinet. And it looks like Betsy DeVos is one of the only ones, maybe Tom Price at Health and Human Services, maybe Mnuchin at Treasury, who still has some issues to deal with. But my point being that Democrats seem to have forgotten that it was Harry Reid who changed the Senate precedent to 51 votes on these cabinet picks. So unless you get some Republicans against these picks, Democrats can scream and yell all they want. They're going to get most, if not all, of these Trump cabinet picks through. So I think Chuck Schumer might have been better served by picking his battles elsewhere and giving Donald Trump his team. I'm not saying you just rubber stamp it, but how is it that Mitch McConnell, on day one of the Obama administration, allowed Barack Obama to have 7 out of, about 16 cabinet posts, so about half the cabinet on day one? Because he said, look, I don't agree with a lot of these folks, but let's let the new president have their team.
Yeah, and on the Gorsuch nomination, we may see more waterworks from Chuck Schumer, because as much as
waterworks,
as much as he says 60 votes and people are making pronouncements about filibustering.
Yeah.
You have some Democrat senators, particularly those up for re-election in 2018 in states that Trump won going away, like Manchin in West Virginia and Heitkamp in North Dakota, saying, no, it's an up or down vote. I'm not on board for a filibuster. So
yeah, I think you're right. I would put my finger on that, for the Supreme Court battle, and then for even some of President Trump's agenda, whether it be tax cuts or tax reform, infrastructure spending in the days ahead. Because here's the bottom line. You're absolutely right. There's a list of 10 Senate Democrats up in 2018 in states that Donald Trump carried. I believe 5 of the states he carried them by double digits. So all this talk about the nuclear option, meaning, will the Republicans change Senate precedent or even the Senate rules so that you can break a filibuster on Supreme Court nominees and just have 51 votes like Harry Reid did for lower-level judicial and cabinet picks. I'm not sure that Mitch McConnell will even have to take that step, even though the president urged him to this week, because you're right. I think there'll be Democrats like Manchin who will say, from West Virginia, say, wait a second. A filibuster, someone like Gorsuch, Judge Gorsuch is somebody who even Democrats, some of them in private, some of them in public, will acknowledge is eminently qualified to be on the Supreme Court. He's more conservative than Democrats would like, but this is the Scalia seat. So remember, this is not going to change the balance of power on the court. It's going to be a conservative for a conservative. So I think there's a good chance that Chuck Schumer realizes he's going to make a lot of noise, but realizes the real fight is going to be if Justice Kennedy or someone else more moderate steps down in the months ahead. That's when they probably want to reserve the filibuster, because that's going to actually change the balance, where you might take a sort of moderate Republican like Justice Kennedy, who sided in favor of same-sex marriage, for example, and swap him out for a conservative. All of a sudden the Supreme Court moves right. That's when Chuck Schumer might want a filibuster, not now.
Do you think the liberal Supreme Court justices, despite their age, are going to hang on because they don't want Donald Trump to have another appointment to the Supreme Court?
Absolutely. I mean, there's a story in the Washington Post a couple days ago, I don't know if you saw it, but it was sort of local here, about how there's this sort of online and elsewhere liberals stepping up and saying that they're willing to bring food to Justice Ginsburg, make sure she gets spa treatment.
Wellness checks.
Personal trainer. Because in all seriousness, she's battled cancer before, and she's been very tough in those fights. And if you saw her at the inaugural, she clearly is aging, as are a lot of the justices. But Justice Ginsburg is somebody who's battled valiantly. So that's the serious side. But the joking side is there are people on the left saying, look, do you need, foot rubs? Do we need to get you spa treatments? What do we need to do to keep you on the court and keep you healthy and vibrant? Because you're right. If someone like Justice Ginsburg steps down, Donald Trump is really going to reshape the Supreme Court. And that is going to have an impact long beyond his time in office.
There was some talk this week about more executive order action on immigration. What can we expect next week in this flurry of activity as this flurry of activity continues?
Well, you're looking at, my colleague John Roberts is reporting this morning at the White House that we'll probably see in just a few minutes, frankly, at the Treasury Department, they're going to announce new sanctions against Iran. That's obviously, I think, something that's heating up. I think North Korea as a foreign policy challenge is heating up. That's not going to be executive action. But people inside the White House are telling me that while Iran is getting all the attention in private, there's been a lot of saber rattling by North Korea, and the White House is watching that closely. On immigration, there is talk about more executive orders, but I think, frankly, they have to tweak the one on refugees, because they heard enough grief, not just from Democrats, but some Republicans, that there's a sense that Rex Tillerson and Secretary Kelly over at the Department of Homeland Security are going to tweak the refugee one before they bite off more than they can chew.
That whole Iran-North Korea thing is like life imitating season 6 of Homeland. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Ed Henry, he is the chief national correspondent for Fox News Channel. Ed, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Have a wonderful weekend, guys.
You too.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Sunshine right now. It's spectacular sunshine, but still pretty cool. What we can expect for February. A high of 25 degrees today. Saturday and Sunday look warmer. Sunshine on Saturday giving way to clouds. Breezy by the afternoon, a high of 32. And on Super Bowl Sunday, it'll be cloudy in the morning. Otherwise, sunshine in the afternoon. Get this, a high of 40 degrees. Let's get into the traffic center. How's the inbound Jane Addams doing, Jim Telemonte, who joins us from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center?
Thanks, Amy. You'll be happy to know the Adams Tollway is just fine in both directions. I-90 clear sailing at the moment. Northbound Tri-State a little slow from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower.
Well, I don't know if I will.
Tollways are looking great. Eden's fine too. Inbound Kennedy. You've got delays from Addison to the Hubbard Tunnel. 45 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 35 from Montrose. 26 in the Express. Outbound 24 to the airport. The Eisenhower. 48 minutes Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 32. Stevenson, 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. It's fine outbound. The Ryan is 24 minutes, 95th downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
What to get that someone special in your life for Valentine's Day? Roses, candy? Boring. Take your Valentine to Punta Cana. Join us and Joe Walsh in Punta Cana, courtesy of Apple Vacations. We'll be staying at the beautiful Secrets Cap Cana Resort and Spa. Jump online and check it out. Again, it's the Secrets Cap Cana Resort and Spa. Brand new, 5 gourmet restaurants, 7 bars, adults only. It's a line right along the pristine beaches of the Dominican. So get more information and book your trip by visiting 560theanswer.com, keyword passport. And right now, listen up. You can enter for a free chance to win a free all-expenses paid trip to Punta Cana by downloading and launching the AM560 mobile app. Just go to 560theanswer.com/mobile or text the word app to 64636 to get the AM560 mobile app and enter for your chance to win.
Cashcasters.com is a unique online marketplace where you make cash offers for products or professional services you would like to buy or use. Do you need extra cash or have items or professional services you'd like to sell online, or would you like to post an online cash offer for products or professional services? Then sign up today at Cashcasters.com. It's easy. People offer their products or professional services to you based on your cash offer. Simply post any item you'd like for free, along with a minimum price you are willing to accept. Every time you post, Cashcasters automatically sends your offer to all matching cash offers. It's always free to post products, so post as many as you would like, or make a cash offer on any product or professional service you desire. Be one of the first 200 people to either make a cash offer or post a product, and you will automatically be registered to win a 10-inch Samsung Galaxy tablet. Full details at Cashcasters.com. Sign up now to catch a deal today. Visit Cashcasters.com. That's Cashcasters.com.
A hearty breakfast that gets you out of bed in the morning and the road that lets you safely get to work have one thing in common: salt. Not only does salt make your food taste better, it makes icy roads safer. Using salt to de-ice the roads can reduce car crashes by 88% and injuries by 85%. Icy roads end where salt begins. Everything's better with a little salt. Find out why at alittlesalt.org.
Are you looking for senior care for your mom or dad but don't know where to start? Hi, I'm Jen London with The Place for Mom. Nobody knows your parent or loved one better than you, and nobody knows senior living better than the experts at A Place for Mom. It's a free service, and we've helped thousands of families find the right place for their mom or dad. There's a place for answers, A Place for Mom. Call today.
Call A Place for Mom at 1-800-379-1174. That's 1-800-379-1174.
Your company's critical projects involve improving processes, evolving business models, launching products, and realizing strategic imperatives. Integrated Project Management's core competency is execution, using process, leadership, and discipline to assure successful, sustainable results. Since 1988, IPM has led nearly 4,000 initiatives alongside our clients in a structured, engaging, and respectful manner. IPM's 7 nationwide offices employ consultants who excel at providing project management consulting to America's most successful firms. Their outstanding leaders transform strategy into reality, providing clients with a competitive advantage. IPM has been recognized as a top small and medium workplace and great workplace in consulting and professional services by Fortune magazine and one of the 25 best small companies by Forbes magazine. When your company needs help executing critical projects, visit IPMCinc.com or call Integrated Project Management's Chicago office at 630-789-8600. That's IPMCinc.com. Nothing matters if you can't execute.
There are 2 kinds of pain: pain that goes away and the worst kind, chronic pain. If you suffer from chronic pain, life is not complete and it can be miserable. Unfortunately, most people use narcotics that mask the pain. You need to find the source of the chronic pain and get relief.
This is Dr. Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. We're serious players in the management of pain, and our team are national leaders as well as being educators in the treatment of pain. We will work with you to diminish or eliminate your pain and help you get your life back. You know, there's a nationwide narcotics epidemic, and people are too quick to mask over chronic pain instead of looking for the cause and treating or eliminating the pain. Contact us. We will help you.
Go to mypainchicago.com. Call and make an appointment with some of the best pain people in the nation, located here in Chicago. mypainchicago.com. You or someone you know suffers in the suffering of chronic pain. mypainchicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
So we're having our first ever AM 560 chili cook-off, and they have plastic sheets lining from the walls in the conference room.
What, are they cooking here?
Well, they're bringing the food in, the participants, but I don't understand.
Are they? Is this like a monkey cage? Are they going to throw the chili at one another? I don't.
Food fight?
I don't understand.
We're protecting the furniture, I guess.
Obviously, I'm not participating because I don't cook.
Well, you didn't bring our entry in?
No.
The Dan and Amy, the Damie chili? Did it?
Yeah, it's cute.
It is,
Super Bowl weekend, Patriots are given 3 over under 58. Make our normal Duke Brothers wager of $1. Who do you want? I'll take Atlanta plus the points.
Okay, thanks.
All
There
right.
you go. I'll have what you're having.
Okay.
It sounds good.
So I'll take Atlanta plus 3.
I'm not going to watch I'll watch the game because I'm sports-minded, but I love the halftime show, and I love me some Lady Gaga. She's talented. But this year she said she's not going to get political at halftime. Okay.
Well, I don't know if I will succeed in unifying America. You'll have to ask America when it's over. But the only statements that I'll be making during the halftime show are the ones that I have been consistently making throughout my career. I believe in a passion for inclusion. I believe in the spirit of equality and the spirit of this country as one of love and compassion and kindness. So my performance will uphold those philosophies.
Those are not philosophies. I don't even know what those are. What is
That's a bunch of liberal glob.
What is a passion for inclusion and the spirit of equality? How about just believing in equality? Well, the spirit of equality. So it's not going to be political, but it's going to be focused on inclusion and equality from somebody who was on the stump for Hillary Clinton about 3 months ago.
Now, they asked her who she thought was going to win the game, and she said after the halftime show she's going to take out a piece of paper inside of her shoe and reveal what team she's pulling for. Because we all need to know who Lady Gaga wants to win the Super Bowl.
Just as long as she doesn't reveal anything else, we don't need another Janet Jackson mishap.
Oh, come on. You want that to happen.
No, I don't. No, I do not.
Fruits and vegetables are one of the very best, if not the best way to help protect your body from many of the lifestyle diseases plaguing our nation. Eating over 10 servings of fruits and vegetables daily will help build your immune system to over 720% and is the single most important thing you can do for your health, along with diet and exercise. Why are fruits and vegetables such a powerful health consideration? Because they contain tens of thousands of phytonutrients prepared especially by Mother Nature to nourish our body on a cellular level. Dr. Howard successfully formulated and perfected a mix of 31 different fruits and vegetables and scientifically removed the water and air through a proprietary cold vacuum system, reducing them into a super powder which maintains 99.9% of its nutrient value, then packaging them into vegetarian capsules ready for consumption. Here's Dr. Howard.
What does good nutrition not benefit? Can you name anything that good nutrition will not help? It's not a cure-all. The scope of what it can help is so wide because our bodies are really fabulous, amazing chemical laboratories. Everything that functions in your system is a chemical response. Keeping that chemistry in balance and keeping the cells communicating with each other the very best possible way is absolutely the best way to reduce your risk of disease and also help your body help itself even fighting most of these diseases.
Balance of Nature is celebrating its 20th anniversary by providing you the best offer they've ever given. 2 free months of fruits and veggies and free shipping. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Thanks so much for making us part of your week. Dan, thanks for coming to work today and have fun at the Super Bowl.
Thank you very much.
Now we go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, Chicago police trying to ID a woman found on the north side. Chicago police say a man tried to lure two girls on the north side. They continue their investigation. Governor Rauner mulls over a full Obamacare repeal and what it means for the state of Illinois. WIND Chicago News Time, 9 o'clock.